Marvel, Hell's Kitchen's New Punisher Part 1. 39th Street, between unknown avenues, New York City, USA. A white and blue NYPD cruiser screeched to a halt. Two officers, one white, one black, both heavy-set, stepped out in matching dark uniforms. The white officer yanked a young Asian man from the back seat and sneered. "This is where you belong, punk!" The man glared coldly. "You reek of pig slop." Without warning, the white officer slammed a fist into his gut, making him double over in pain. The black officer chuckled. "All right, Jaden, leave him. This is Hell's Kitchen. He won't last 10 days. The Asian man straightened slowly, wiped blood from the corner of his mouth, and defiantly raised his middle finger. "Go pick cotton." The black officer's grin vanished. Fury lit up his face as he reached for his gun. The white cop stepped in, grinning now, and pushed his partner back toward the car. "Isaac, calm down. Too many eyes on us." Isaac spat and got into the passenger seat, fuming. Jaden stood staring at the young man, a twisted glint in his eye. "You better pray you never leave Hell's Kitchen. If you do, I'll make sure you die in it." The cruiser sped away, leaving the man half-crouched on the sidewalk. The crowd flowed around him, indifferent. Eventually, he stood, scanning the rundown street, the blend of faces in every color. For a moment, his mind went blank. His name now was Cohen Wang, but in his previous life, he'd been Wang Wei, an ordinary man from China. Back then, he was a nobody, a 30-something who'd wasted a decade in the city and returned home broke and disillusioned. Desperate, he tried writing. His book flopped. $6.78 a day. The only readers left were trolls. Then, one late night, while battling with a sharp-tongued commenter, he choked on a glob of phlegm. Not once, not twice, he just couldn't swallow. Panic gripped him. "Mom, I swear I'll never argue with a reader again." Darkness swallowed him. When he opened his eyes, he was young again, 22, handsome, but homeless in the middle of New York. No past. No future. Just a body and fluent English. No idea how he got here. Alone. Scared. Time traveled without a manual. All he could think was, "Next time, just let me die in peace." His looks made him stand out on the street. Unfortunately, beauty drew predators. Soon, a gang of scruffy homeless men closed in. One of them, a greasy Asian man with beady eyes and a forehead pimple, rubbed against him. "Mine!" Cohen thought furiously. In his last life, he was 33. In this one, 22. That made him over 50, yet he'd never been touched by a man before. Rage exploded. He beat the man senseless. That's when the cops showed up. The others scattered. The pimpled man collapsed, unconscious. Cohen, knowing full well how dangerous American cops could be, didn't resist. Still, as Jaden cuffed him, he sneered. "You yellow roaches are all the same." Cohen's blood boiled. He had been meek and miserable in his last life. Was he supposed to stay that way now? He exploded. "You talking to me, porkface? With your flabby gut and pig snout, are you sure you're not an escaped breeding so? Shouldn't you be birthing piglets on a farm somewhere instead of pretending to be a cop?" Jaden turned red with rage. "You!" Isaac grabbed Cohen's collar. "Say that again." Cohen spat contemptuously. "Get out of here, watermelon man. I'm talking to your boss." The punches that followed were inevitable. He got beaten and dumped in Hell's Kitchen like garbage. He didn't believe it at first. Hell's Kitchen? But then, off in the distance, he saw a building shining like a beacon, the logo read Stark Industries. His stomach dropped. No way. Marvel? I'm in the Marvel Universe? No money. No ID. No rights. No home. And now, superheroes? Just kill me already. Save everyone the trouble. Still aching, he dragged himself into an alley, sat by a trash can, and gingerly touched his ribs, probably broken. He looked up at the sky and muttered, "Master Ancient One, I know you're from around my part of the world. Can you maybe send me back? Please?" Silence. No portal. No magic. Just garbage, pain, and despair. Slumping against the wall, Cohen sighed. He doubted he'd survive long enough to take revenge on the cops. If things got worse, maybe he'd jump into some toxic waste and hope for powers. And then, the God of Punishment system has been loaded. He froze. Then sat upright in shock. System? A translucent interface appeared before his eyes. Name Cohen Wong. Age 22. Race human. Condition minor injuries, fractured ribs, internal bleeding. Strength 5 average. Speed 5. Defense 5. Constitution 5. Spirit 8. Technology none. Ability none. Items none. Instance unlocked. Alternate universe unlocked. Iron level praise 0/1. Ding! Host detected in critical condition. Initial privileges granted, one time only. Rewards, mission package upgrade. Double rewards enabled. A spark lit in his eyes. A system. A chance. Revenge is still possible. As for what is a black iron level prey, the system is very clear, the person is guilty. Just now, a few guys who were laughing passed by the alley, and he sensed the system's prompt that they were all black iron level prey. Judging from the tattoos on their arms and the bulging bags around their waists, these people are most likely gang members. However, when the prey passed by him, he didn't even dare to raise his head. The deterrent power of American-style AI is too great. Considering his current state of being penniless and with broken ribs, it would be a waste for him to kill any prey. It would be a good thing if he didn't get killed. Hiss. Would I be the first person to travel through time and space with a system and starve to death on the streets? Sadness. As if sensing his bad mood, the weather, which had been fine just a moment ago, suddenly changed. Drops of rain fell from the sky and hit his face. The worries are doubled. Enduring the pain, he dug out a few discarded wooden boards from the trash can and built a simple shelter against the wall. As night fell, raindrops crackled and thunder roared. He was grinding a big nail on the ground from time to time. This was also found in the trash can, and he fully expected it to evolve into a terrifying weapon. The shops on the street were closed one after another, and there were almost no pedestrians on the road. Except for the sound of rain and thunder, everything else seemed to have disappeared. Tuck, tuck, tuck! Suddenly, the sound of high heels hitting the ground was heard. It was the sound of running, hurried, panicked, and scared. What? There was a short, sharp scream, followed by the sound of a faint fight. Let me in! A man's fierce voice. Then, Cohen saw a tall man restrain a woman in his arms, cover her mouth, and drag her into the alley. On a rainy night, the entire alley was pitch black, with only the faint light of a street lamp at the entrance. Cohen hid in the dark, on the side of a dumpster deep in the alley. Not surprisingly, the system prompted that the tall man was a black iron level prey. The man was very skilled. He pushed the woman against the wall, strangled her neck, and threatened in a low voice. If you dare to scream, I will kill you! Take out all your money! A flash of lightning streaked across the sky, and everything suddenly turned white. At a glance, Cohen saw that it was a wet blonde, her clothes clinging to her body, outlining her graceful curves. Her delicate face was covered with rain and tears, and she was sobbing but unable to speak. The man's hands began to grope her body, and seemed to have found her wallet. He took out some money and threw it on the ground. Cohen held the sharpened nail tightly in his hand and quietly changed his body posture. He was looking for an opportunity to kill with one strike. His physical condition did not allow him to fight with a tall and strong man. Even after getting the money, the man was obviously not satisfied. He covered the woman's mouth with his left hand and reached over with his sinful right hand. The woman resisted fiercely, but it seemed to arouse the man's interest even more. Cohen even heard the man's breathing become heavier. Invest a little more. His muscles were tense and his eyes were unusually bright. Just as he was about to pounce. Stop! An angry shout from above completely disrupted his rhythm, and he almost fell to the ground. A guy wearing a two-horned demon mask and a red leather jacket fell from the sky and kicked the man to the ground. Daredevil! Cohen immediately recognized the uniformed superhero in front of him. The man fell to the ground and subconsciously reached for his waist. Daredevil quickly stepped forward and knocked him unconscious with one punch. A revolver fell to the ground. When the blonde found herself being rescued, a shrill scream finally broke out of her throat. Maybe she was too frightened tonight, and she didn't even care about the person who saved her. She rushed out of the alley with her head in her hands and ran away. Suddenly, only Cohen and Daredevil were left in the alley. He suddenly turned around and looked at Cohen. Although he knew that the person in front of him was blind and although it was dark now, Cohen still silently hid the nail behind him, with a somewhat unnatural look on his face. I don't know if my actions just now were discovered. If he knew that he had the intention to kill, who knows what this Lord of Morality would do? Daredevil was about to say something, but suddenly paused and pretended to listen attentively. Soon, his face changed. He took out two short sticks connected with strings from his waist and swung them upwards. For some unknown reason, he flew up like Spider-Man. At this time, Cohen finally reacted and suddenly rushed to the street. Looking at Daredevil jumping between the rooftops, he stretched his neck and shouted, "Hero, can you lend me some money?" No respond. In the dark night, that blurry figure seemed to be walking faster. Boom! A flash of lightning flashed across the sky. He suddenly turned and looked towards the alley. The man's figure still lay there, unconscious. Cohen wiped the rain off his face, opened his arms, and whispered to the sky, "God! God! Gods! Gods! If you exist, if you have mercy, then come and stop me. If not, if I don't care, then from now on, my hands will be stained with blood. Punisher!" The rain suddenly got heavier. The thunder suddenly became louder. In the alley, Cohen held a large iron nail and stabbed the unconscious man's neck several times, turning him over and over. Not being able to do it is one thing. On the other hand, once the nail is driven into the man, he will not die immediately. He will definitely make some noise while struggling. By then, the ground will be covered with blood, and even if there is a heavy rain, there will be no trace left. The same goes for pistols. It's best to find a perfect solution. As he was hesitating, he suddenly caught a glimpse of rain water flowing deeper into the alley. Turning around, he saw a sewer with a manhole cover on top. After struggling to open the manhole cover, I could see in the light of lightning that it was a very narrow and deep passage. The water flows rapidly, swirling towards an unknown place. If we throw him in headfirst, he won't be able to turn over, climb out, or breathe. He will definitely not survive. God, are you helping me again? When he dragged the man forward, he realized that a person's body was really heavy. The pain in my chest suddenly became more intense and my stomach started to growl. Only then did he remember that he hadn't eaten for a day. Boom! A flash of lightning exploded very close to his head, his ears were buzzing, and he even felt a little dazed. Is this a dream? Maybe I didn't die, maybe I didn't travel through time, maybe I just fainted, and now I'm lying on a hospital bed? Plop, the sound of a heavy object falling into water. The splashing water hit him in the face, and he suddenly woke up. If it was a dream, it probably wouldn't hurt. Amid the sound of heavy rain, a faint shout seemed to come from the bottom of the well, but it also seemed as if there was nothing. He closed the manhole cover in the dark before the next lightning came. Dismantle the shelter and throw the planks back into the trash. Eliminate all traces of yourself. Then he left the alley with more than $300 and a revolver he had found on the man. Just after taking a few steps, the system prompts, "The task has been updated and can be viewed." He paused slightly, without looking back. In this murder, Daredevil helped him, and God also helped him. There is no reason to regret. Mission accomplished. Character level, Black Iron level. Upgrade, not upgraded. Cause of death, drowning. Freshness, 5 stars. End of life emotion, fear. Sentiment rating 3 stars. Comprehensive mission evaluation 4 stars. Newbie privileges are being redeemed. Reward bronze 2-star gift pack. Cohen said silently in his heart as he opened all the gift packages. Congratulations on receiving the rewards: Combat Master, Pistol Mastery, Trap Mastery, free attribute value, 6 points. The task has been updated and can be viewed. An inexplicable force surged into his body. A thin layer of calluses formed on the palms of my hands, and holding the revolver in my hand, I felt that I could shoot whatever I pointed at. The coordination of the limbs and the sensitivity of the 5 senses have also undergone great changes, giving one a feeling of being able to hear in all directions and see in all directions. Thinking back to the alley, 8 ways to kill someone with bare hands suddenly emerged in my mind, and each of them would definitely kill with 1 blow. There were still 6 attribute points left. After thinking for a moment, he added them equally to strength, speed, and defense. I felt my blood rushing, my whole body was filled with strength, and my ribs were slightly itchy, and the pain was instantly reduced by half. Adding attribute values has a healing effect. Open the system panel again. Name: Cohen Wong. Age: 22 years old. Bloodline: human. Status: minor injury. Strength: 7, average for normal people, 5. Speed: 7, average for average people, 5. Defense: 7, average for normal people, 5. Constitution: 5, average value for ordinary people, 5. Spirit: 8, average for ordinary people, 5. Skills: Combat Master, Pistol Mastery, Trap Mastery. Ability: none. Items: none. Instance: unlocked. Alternate universe: unlocked. Main task: those who are guilty must be punished. Iron level prey 0 out of 3. Newest quest: Bronze Hunt. Bronze prey 0/1. Creed: killed to gain redemption. He was surprised to find that the black iron level mission still existed, but the number had increased to 3. The newly added task is to hunt a bronze level prey. I clenched my fists. In this world I now have some power to protect myself. But it is far from enough. At the end of the street, Cohen stayed in a small, shabby hotel for $30. In a hotel of this level, no identification is required. Enter the room and fall asleep. He figured it out. Being in this world and in this place, you may die in the next second. Why think so much? Don't take life or death lightly, just fight if you don't agree. How can you feel guilty? If there is any living person who dislikes me, just kill me. If there is any dead person who doesn't like me, we'll talk about it after I die and go to hell. The next day, I left the hotel, ate something to eat, and went straight to the newsstand. As a true Marvel fan in his previous life, he must first determine whether the values of this world are correct and whether the timeline is smooth enough. He noticed a lot of reports. The secret stories that Stark and 8 supermodels have to tell. Senator Robert, beware of a new race of people. Stark and I one night stand. New York Police Commissioner George talks about red vigilantes. Stark at the Gold Club. Although there are reports of some new human races, street vigilantes, gangs, and monster experiments, overall, this world is not much different from the movie universe. The most important thing is that Tony, the popular playboy, is still living a life of luxury in the Big Apple. It's too late. Everything is still too late. He instantly made a development plan, work hard quietly and amaze everyone. When the time is ripe, we will rise up and unify the world for eternity. It's exciting just thinking about it. In addition, I have to find a chance to buy a plane ticket to Sokovia. I will catch the witch even if I die. I said, even Jesus can't change that. But the first priority now is to find a place to live. Go around to the side of the newsstand. He just noticed that there were many job openings, missing persons notices and the like posted here. I looked around, but didn't find anything suitable. I went back to the front of the newsstand and took out $20 and handed it over. I want to find a job nearby. Do you have any recommendations? The newsstand owner was a fat black man. He took the money with a smile and said, "Of course, as an Asian, I recommend you go to the Chinese restaurant on the next street. Room and board included. All you have to do is wash 3,000 dishes a day for $80. Cohen frowned. How many showers does a normal person take in a day? 600. Fuck, change it. Then go to the end of the street and find a young man named Jesse. You can help him distribute the goods. If you're lucky, you can make hundreds of dollars a day. Bulk cargo? What kind of cargo? Amphetamine. Cohen leaned back instantly, stared at the fat man, and observed him for a long time. Good boy, it's a good thing the system didn't tell you that you are a prey, otherwise I would come back and kill you another day. Change another one. The big black fat man thought for a long time and said, the Emma Church next door is recruiting a substitute priest. Are you interested? Father? Emma Church. A shabby and rundown church. It is a 2-story building, and the first floor is a small hall with 3 rows of seats on each side. At the front is the altar, a simple cross with a scribbled image of Jesus nailed to it. What's special is that there are 2 confession rooms on the left and right of the small hall, which shows that there are too many sins in Hell's Kitchen. The old priest Emma frowned at this moment, looking at the young Asian in front of him, and then at the certificate in his hand. You said you graduated from the Shaolin Seminary in China and interned in the Vatican for a year? Correct. Cohen looked serious. The newsstand owner not only provided him with recruitment information, but also introduced him to the fake ID processing business. Now he not only has a diploma from the seminary, but also a U.S. driver's license and an internship certificate provided by the Vatican, with a stamp. He remembered the big black fat man's introduction. Old Emma had been a priest all her life, and she had never been to the Holy City. Now that I am over 70 years old and have finally saved enough money, I would like to meet the Honorable Pope. Because the church was located in Hell's Kitchen, no one was willing to fill in for him, so he had to post a job announcement. Father Emma thought for a moment and asked, How many days did it take God to create the world? 7 days. What was God's first word? Cohen was stunned for a moment, and as he was thinking, he found that the old priest looked up at him and gestured. He looked up and saw a lamp, and instantly understood. God said, "Let there be light." The last question is, God created Adam and Eve. What are the names of the 2 ancestors of mankind in the Bible? Cohen blinked. Could it be Adam and Eve? Congratulations. Father Emma immediately shook his hand enthusiastically. Shaolin must be an amazing place to teach such an amazing student like you. You passed the test. Haha, congratulations, congratulations, your wish to make a pilgrimage to the Vatican will finally come true. The 2 exchanged pleasantries and signed a simple contract. Father Emma showed him around the church. There were 3 bedrooms on the 2nd floor, and Cohen could choose one of the guest rooms. There is a small garden in the backyard, and the Hudson River is across the path from the garden. Unfortunately, the old priest didn't know how to grow flowers, so the flowers and plants in the garden were sparse and half dead. After visiting the church, Father Emma took out a suitcase from the room. Cohen was surprised. Leaving now? The priest took out an envelope and said, I plan to be away for 3 months. Here is the agency fee for the first month, $1,500. This is the limit of what I can afford. The agency fee for the next 2 months will be paid to you by Father Kyle of St. John's Church. Emma Church is now in your hands. Cohen took the envelope, and the old priest finally handed him a car key. I have an old pickup truck that I can lend you. After saying this, he turned around and left without any hesitation. His figure gradually disappeared at the end of the street. Cohen had a hallucinogenic feeling that things were going, unexpectedly smoothly. Just as he was about to close the church door, a black hand stopped him. Dear Father Emma, I'm here to see you again. The door was pushed open, and a few hoodlums with dreadlocks squeezed in. Seeing the young Cohen, the leader, Jean Fang, was slightly stunned. Where is the old priest? Cohen glanced at everyone and found that among the 5 people, 4 were black iron-level prey. The person is not good. He shook his head. Father Emma went on a pilgrimage to the Vatican and has not been here for some time. Do you have anything to do with him? Jin Fang frowned. Who are you? I'm the new acting priest. I'll be in charge of this place for the next 3 months. You are? Jin Fang shook his dreadlocks and said, Boy, we are the Flame Cripple Gang here. Has the old priest told you that the church should pay protection fees? Cohen was stunned. A bad feeling welled up in his heart, and he shook his head. I never said that. Jean Menya pointed his finger at his chest and said, Then let me tell you, the surrounding area is able to live a peaceful life now only because of the protection of our Flame Crips gang. We charge a little protection fee, isn't that too much? Cohen hesitated to speak. How could the words, quiet and peaceful, be related to Hell's Kitchen? He pointed to the cross behind him and said, But I heard that the church seems to be protected by him? You don't understand this. Jin Fang shook his head and said, He fights demons, I fight bad guys, each doing his own thing. Without our Crips to take care of you, even Jesus can't protect your church. Cohen scratched his head and suddenly remembered the envelope in his arms. So he asked tentatively, How much is your monthly insurance premium? $5,000. Old dog. Cohen cursed in his heart instantly. I finally know why you ran so fast. System, are you asleep? Doesn't this old guy remind me that he is a prey? Everyone, I really don't know about this, and I don't have any cash prepared. How about you guys tomorrow? No, how about I give it to you the day after tomorrow? Jin Fang smiled, but drew the gun from his waist. What do you think? Cohen gritted his teeth. Although he was now a fighting master, it was still very risky to fight against 5 armed thugs. The enemy may not be able to hit the target accurately, but a random stray bullet can take his life. There is ample time. He took out the envelope and smiled again. Well, I suddenly remembered that I just happened to have $1,500 in cash. Please take it. Jin Menya put away his gun with a smile and patted his shoulder carelessly. That's right, those who go against our Flame Cripple Gang never have a good ending. Boy, I am very optimistic about you. Cohen smiled and said, Since you have already collected the protection fee, where should I go to find you when I get into trouble? Golden Fang waved his hand casually. Go to the end of the street, Flame Repair Shop. Go slowly, everyone. May God bless you. Cohen politely saw them out. The 5 hooligans walked out of the church laughing. Someone laughed. Hey, I knew this yellow-skinned monkey wouldn't dare to resist. My gun is loaded. If he dares to move, I'll kill him. Haha, I'll have to come more often in the future. A young man said. Did you see his face? He was obviously very angry, but he had to smile, just like those Japanese people. Behind the few people, Cohen's anger suddenly rose up. You are Japanese, your whole family is Japanese. Damn it. Originally, since you were the only one not identified as prey by the system, I might have considered letting you go. Now you are finished, you are my prey. You fucking must die. I said, even Jesus can't save you. Cohen took a deep breath, closed the door, and said goodbye to the guests. The so-called Flame Crips is a small street gang of only a dozen people, at the bottom of the gang world. They have no strict rules and regulations and management, so they can only do the lowest level jobs. Stealing, robbing, cheating, drug sales, etc. Most of the members are young hooligans from nearby neighborhoods. It cannot be compared with large gangs like the Mafia, Yamaguchi-gumi, and Triads. But they are just as dangerous as ever, because these brainless guys really don't care about their lives. Late at night, 5 drunken figures came out of the repair shop. Not long after he walked away, an egg fell from the sky and hit Jin Fang on the head. He stood there in a daze. His companions saw the egg yolk on his face and all of them burst into laughter. Stop laughing, shut up! He was a little angry and embarrassed, and then looked around to search for the culprit. Boom! 2 more eggs, 3 more people were hit. They soon found a man in black clothes and a red devil mask at the entrance of the alley across the street. The man calmly gave them a middle finger, and then disappeared into the dark alley. Several people were furious and rushed over without caring what was in the alley. They just rushed in. After a few steps, someone suddenly felt a sharp pain in his foot and fell to the ground. Someone missed a step and got stuck in the sewer manhole, feeling a little sad. Someone tripped and hit his head on the ground, and his head was bleeding instantly. Before the remaining 2 people could react, bang bang! 2 blows came. Afterwards, the 3 injured people were knocked unconscious one by one. In the darkness, a cold voice came. Humph, I am just a fighting master, please teach me. A few minutes later, an old pickup truck drove out of the alley and gradually drove away. Emma Church, backyard garden. Under the cold moonlight, Cohen opened the tarpaulin covering the pickup truck bed, and 5 pairs of frightened eyes instantly stared at him. They were all gagged and tied tightly. Friends who often kill people know that killing is easy, but the difficult part is how to deal with the body. Cohen estimated their size and compared it with the deep hole he had dug in the garden that afternoon, and realized that he had dug too small. With a sigh, he could only pick up the shovel and continue digging. In the carriage, the 5 men of Golden Fong watched his every move and were terrified to the extreme. Her body kept twisting, her face was full of tears, and her eyes were full of begging. Cohen meant it. After completing the task last night, he had been thinking about several of the contents. Ascension, manner of death, freshness, dying emotions, and emotional levels. He didn't know what upgrading was, and couldn't figure it out from the name. But the remaining 4 contents are easier to analyze. The way of death corresponds to the freshness, which means that the system actually encourages him to use various different means to punish his prey. Dying emotions correspond to emotional levels. Similarly, the system encourages him to let his prey release strong emotions when they are dying, and fear should be just one of them. Now, he was absolutely sure that the emotional levels of these prey had definitely reached 5 stars. Next is the manner of death, buried alive. He threw the 5 men into the deep pit one by one. In the end, it was the gang members that the system had not yet identified as prey. But Cohen knows that doesn't mean he is a good person. It's just that he is a new person and his sins have not accumulated to that point yet. Cohen patted his face and said, I didn't intend to kill you originally. Who told you to call me a Japanese? Do you know what this means to a Chinese? So insulting. Go down there and have a good talk with the King of Hell, so that you can be reborn into a good person in your next life. Of course, you are also welcome to seek revenge on me in 18 years if you can beat me. Hearing his words, the man struggled frantically, but Cohen tied him up tightly. He was like a maggot in a cesspool and could not escape the fate of being shit, no matter what. The 5 people were piled in a deep pit. Before burying them, Cohen smiled at Jean Fong and said, Look, I told you that this place is protected by God, but you insist on stealing his business. I have no choice but to send you to see him in accordance with God's will. Remember to say hello for me, so that when I go to heaven, he will remember my great deed. Russell. Cohen had just shoveled 2 shovels of dirt when he heard someone knocking on the church door. Boom! He paused. Was he discovered? Impossible. I stuffed the shovel into the ground, quietly went up to the 2nd floor, and looked down from the balcony. Fortunately, there was no police car in front of the door, only a tall and thin figure, knocking and howling. Open the door, Father, open the door! Cohen wanted to ignore him, but if he let him shout, it would attract attention sooner or later. After making sure that the people in the pit cannot escape, open the front door. A bearded man reeking of alcohol rushed over. Cohen held him, but he let out a wow and vomited all over the floor like a fountain. Cohen wanted to kill him. The trap was already set, so he could just throw him into it. Perhaps sensing his murderous intent, the man burst into tears. Father, I am miserable. I can't go home and I can't see my wife. Father, can God help me? Cohen rolled his eyes. What a coincidence. I was about to send someone to see God, so I asked him to deliver a message for you? Or do you go meet him in person? The man was dizzy and kept talking to Cohen. He was originally an intelligence analyst for the Department of Homeland Security and accidentally discovered a video of the U.S. military executing the enemy in Afghanistan. He keenly noticed that something was wrong in the video. The man who was executed clearly stated that he was a member of the Afghan National Police, but he was still killed without mercy. The man reported the situation, but ended up getting himself killed. He was executed by his colleagues in the Security Bureau on the bridge, shot in the chest, and fell into the river. The man was crying and holding Cohen's thigh tightly. Cohen was speechless. "Brother, I'm killing someone, can you please change the time?" But as he described it, Cohen suddenly felt that the story was familiar. The man survived by chance. But for the safety of himself and his family, he had to hide his identity. Relying on his super hacker skills, he has no worries about food and clothing, but he cannot reunite with his family. He knew that once he was exposed, he would face endless pursuit. In order to get revenge, he bought a large amount of electronic equipment and built a secret intelligence base, hoping to find out the truth behind why he was being hunted. But life with his right hand by his side was really hard. For several months, he could only keep an eye on his wife and children through surveillance videos. Finally, today he exploded in anger and got drunk, so he knocked on the door of the church, hoping to talk to God. Cohen's eyes flashed, and he asked tentatively, "What's your name?" "David Lieberman." Sure enough, he is the chairman of the real Punisher Frank, the man behind the boss. A super hacker, an operations commander, almost. The man who was cuckolded by Frank. He missed his wife so much that he asked Frank to go visit her, but in front of the surveillance camera, the two of them. TSK. That old guy Frank is not honest. But even if we exclude his still charming wife, David is still a treasure. When Cohen went out to scout the area tonight, he discovered that killing someone is not difficult, but the difficult part is how to leave no traces. Especially when working in Hell's Kitchen, he not only has to guard against the enemy's counterattack, but also has to be wary of the two-horned demon man. If he were found out, he had no doubt Daredevil would have him thrown in jail. But it would be much better to have a super hacker, especially since he is a master at controlling drones and has a god's perspective, which is a great advantage for Cohen. The question is how to make him work for you. After thinking for a while, he slapped the man on the back of the head, and the chattering David fell to the ground instantly. Carry him upstairs to the guest room and continue the task of burying the body. Half an hour later, a system prompt finally came into my mind. Mission accomplished. Character level, Black Iron level. Upgrade, not upgraded. Method of death, buried alive. Freshness, 5 stars. End of life emotions, fear, regret. Emotional rating, 5 stars. Comprehensive task evaluation, 5 stars. Special rewards for 5-star reviews, gift packages are being upgraded. Reward Black Iron 5-star gift pack, double luck. Open the gift bag. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Night Vision. This ability is very good. Vision is the greatest means of human perception of the world, and Night Vision will turn him into a beast in the dark. He was moved. It turned out that the system was encouraging him to kill people in various ways. As long as you get a 5-star rating, the probability of getting good things in the gift package will greatly increase. Looking at the system again, the progress of the Black Iron level prey has reached January 5th. 13579. This means that if he wants to get a 5-star mission rating, the easiest way is to complete the first 1, 3, and 5 stages of each level of mission. When the number of people required increases, it is difficult to ensure that the quality of each killing reaches the 5-star standard unless it is a large-scale killing in one go. In this case, the first few tasks at each level need to be done with caution. Right now, he needs 4 more 5-star kills to get the second 5-star gift package. It seems that the matter with the Flame Cripple Gang is not over yet. Pain. It hurts. It hurts so much. David woke up from his sleep, sat up with his head covered, and looked around. Where was this place? I was shocked and hurried downstairs, only to find that this was actually a church. He patted his head, trying to recall what happened, but heard a voice. "Are you awake? Then come over." In the church backyard, Cohen, wearing a pair of rubber gloves, was fiddling with flowers and plants. Seeing David coming over with a confused look on his face, he smiled and said, "The previous priest was too busy to take care of these flowers and plants, so they all withered. I just fertilized them. Maybe in a few days they will bloom." David looked him up and down. He was wearing a black suit with a white Roman collar and a cross on his chest. He looks gentle and has a warm smile. But strangely, when facing this young Asian man, he actually had the illusion that he was facing a tiger. He only had this feeling when facing the top agents of the Security Bureau. Has a problem. As a super hacker and top intelligence analyst, he trusts his intuition very much. I must have been very drunk last night, He tried to cover himself up. "Hello, Father. My name is Frank, a fiction writer who has been having trouble thinking lately and has been drinking too much. At that time, I probably couldn't tell the difference between fiction and reality, and I may have said a lot of nonsense. Please don't mind it, I'm sorry." Cohen looked at him and smiled. "David Lieberman, you don't have to hide yourself from me." David's face changed, and he tried to explain. "My name is Frank. David Lieberman is a character in my novel. I must have been too involved in it. Your wife's name is Sarah Lieberman, and you have a son and a daughter, Zach and Leo." David's color changed instantly. His wife and children were his Achilles heel. He would never allow anyone to hurt them. He rushed over excitedly and grabbed Cohen by the collar. "Who are you? Fuck, who are you?" There was no pattern to his movements. Cohen punched him hard in the stomach, and the severe pain made him double over. He took David to the small hall, under the altar cross. "I am a knight of God, a knight who punishes evil. Under God's guidance, I will cleanse this world. I am God's second sword to destroy the world. I am the great flood." He squatted down and looked down at David, who was kneeling on the ground. "Follow me and witness the darkness of this world. You will also witness the light of hope in the deepest despair. The flood is destruction, but also salvation, despair, but also hope. This world will either be purified by me or destroyed by me." Cohen looked solemn and majestic, just like a savior. David looked at him and said coldly, "Bullshit." Cohen sighed in his heart, and his body trembled. Why didn't anyone come to pay their respects? But he was not angry. He had a backup plan. "Last night I knew everything from God. David Lieberman, an intelligence analyst for the Department of Homeland Security, discovered the video documenting Cerberus in action. He was then shot dead in the street by Senior Agent Carson Wolf and fell into the river. What's dramatic is that the cell phone on your chest saved your life. After escaping death, you changed your identity and planned revenge. Am I right?" David was slightly stunned. He didn't know that the code name of the video shooting operation was Cerberus. "These are all what I said last night when I was drunk. Don't think I will believe you if you add any details to it. So do you have any plans to find Frank Castle and work with him now?" David was stunned, because this thought was only in his mind and he didn't tell anyone. But he still shook his head. "I don't believe you." "Okay, then I'll tell you straight away. During the Afghan War, the CIA planted poppies and smuggled drugs in remote mountainous areas. They used the bodies of fallen American soldiers to transport drugs to the United States and made huge profits. The so-called Operation Cerberus was a cleansing and assassination mission they carried out in order to cover up the fact of drug trafficking. Wolf was one of them. The person behind all this is the current head of the CIA's Secret Operations Department. Agent Orange, William Rawlins." David stood there in a daze for a moment. "So you're going to fight them? Or do you think Frank Castle alone is enough? Do not be silly. Reality is not a novel or a movie. Do you really think he has the aura of a protagonist and can never be killed?" David came back to his senses. "What about you? Can you fight against them?" "Of course." Cohen stood at the foot of the cross with his arms outstretched, and the sun happened to shine in, making him look like a divine presence. "I am not a human, I am a god. A God who punishes all sins! David, an atheist, lost focus. How is this possible? A night without stars. Under the thick dark clouds, the crimes of Hell's Kitchen continued to unfold. Inside the alley, a woman was cornered. The three knife-wielding robbers held flashlights in their hands, shining them so brightly that the woman couldn't open her eyes. She took out her wallet and begged for mercy in fear. All my money is here. Let me go, please. When we've had enough fun, we'll definitely let you go. The three of them slowly approached. Just then, stop, let go of that girl. A man wearing a red leather jacket and a double-horned devil mask fell from the sky. Seeing him, the three little Karami panicked instantly. Daredevil! Run! Bang, bang, bang! With three simple and clean strikes, the three little Karami fell to the ground instantly. He said to the woman in the corner in a low, magnetic voice, "Call the police." Then he swung the short stick and flew into the sky. In the distance, Cohen was watching all this. Judging from his level as a fighting master, Daredevil's fighting skills should be similar to his. Even if it is stronger, it is still limited. However, his physical fitness is obviously better than mine, and judging by the system's attributes, it is likely to be above 10. Of course, his most powerful weapon is his Nightmare Radar. Just like Spider-Man's Spider Sense, the Night Stalker Radar is simply a cheat that can greatly increase his reconnaissance ability, search ability, combat ability, and a series of other abilities. After solving the trouble, Daredevil left quickly, and David's voice came from the headphones. Well, Knight, the person you are afraid of has gone away. You can start your mission now. Cohen rolled his eyes and headed towards the flame repair shop. Who told you I'm afraid of him? It's just that God hasn't listed him as a target, so I don't want to conflict with him for the time being, do you understand? If he crosses the line one day, I will definitely help him correct it. The lights in the street were dim. However, Cohen's night vision was so powerful that he felt that the deep darkness was no different from the daytime. He quickly arrived outside the flame repair shop. The people inside were probably asleep, and there was no light. David introduced in his headphones. There is a bedroom on the east side of the first floor, and there are 2 people in it. There are 3 bedrooms on the second floor. Their eldest son, Jiro, lives in the northernmost one. There are 2 remaining bedrooms, one in the east and one in the west, and there are 3 more people. They are likely to be carrying firearms. According to my investigation during the day, there are at least 2 MP9 submachine guns and an M4. Are you sure you can handle it? Easy. There was a small yard in the repair shop with a wall more than 1 meter high. Cohen simply sprinted and easily crossed it. He did not go into the house immediately, but went to the switch box under the eaves and turned off the power. Then they easily came to the bedroom on the first floor. These gangsters had almost no vigilance. In the dirty and messy bedroom, 2 drunken black men were lying on one side and one side. He knocked them unconscious skillfully, gagged them skillfully, and tied them up tightly. On the second floor, the same procedure was followed for the east and west bedrooms. However, in the bedroom of their eldest brother Jello, there was a rope with a bell hung in front of the door, which was very thoughtful. Unfortunately, in addition to night vision, Cohen is also proficient in setting traps, so this method is too easy for him. Although the old door was locked, it could be easily opened with a few pieces of wire. Jiro was a burly man covered in tattoos. Cohen was disappointed when he saw him for the first time. Because according to the system's judgment, he was also a black iron level prey, not the bronze level that Cohen had been thinking about. Waste. When the bad guys are bad, they are incompetent. There were 6 people in total, all tied up tightly, and then Cohen tied 6 nooses on the railing on the second floor, 1 for each person. They had ropes around their necks and were trembling as they looked at the unknown visitor wearing a devil mask, their hearts filled with fear. A voice came from Cohen's headphones, and David saw this scene through the drone. Fuck, what are you doing? Kill them and leave quickly. The longer you stay, the greater the chance of being discovered. David, I don't kill for the sake of killing, I judge. Don't call me by my name, are you crazy? Don't get excited. There are only 2 of us and 6 dying people here. You won't be discovered. Do not. The key to the problem is not who is in front of you, but that you cannot call me by my real name during the operation. Call me by my code name. Okay, then what's your code name? How about Knight's Right Hand? That's not nice, call me Tiger. Humph, that's even worse. Okay, I'm going to kill someone, I'll talk to you later. In front of him, 6 people instantly began to twist their bodies, making woo-woo sounds. He just talked so much nonsense, of course, not to waste words, but to allow the people in front of him to accumulate enough emotions. Looking at the people in front of him, he said in an ascending tone, Everyone, the time is up. I am judging you on behalf of God. You have sinned and it is time to pay the price. I sentence you to die. After saying that, he pulled out the benches from under everyone's feet one by one. For a moment, dull groans filled the entire repair shop. A few minutes later, a prompt came from the system. The task has been updated and can be viewed. He did not open the system immediately, but instead took great pains to move the 6 people back to the room. He took away 2 submachine guns, then turned on the power switch and short-circuited the wires to create the illusion that the electrical appliances were aging and had caught fire. Because there was a lot of fuel in the repair shop, the raging fire quickly engulfed the entire building. When the fire truck came roaring in, he had already returned to the church. After taking a shower, I sat on the balcony, enjoying the evening breeze and looking at the red flames in the distance, then slowly turned on the system. Mission accomplished. Character level, black iron level. Upgrade, not upgraded. Cause of death, hanging. Freshness, 5 stars. Emotions at the end of life, fear and confusion. Emotional rating, 5 stars. Comprehensive task evaluation, 5 stars. Special rewards for 5-star reviews, gift packages are being upgraded. Reward Black Iron 5-star gift pack, double luck. Congratulations on triggering the first 5 kill streak reward, free attribute value, 5. Okay? There is actually a kill streak reward? Cohen paused for a moment. It seemed that the system still had many functions that he needed to slowly explore. 5 attribute points is a pleasant surprise. But what's important now is what you can get from the 5-star gift package. Open the gift bag. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Compound Eyes. Another eye ability? The next moment, he felt his vision suddenly become extremely wide, and both vertical and horizontal viewing angles were greatly increased. At the same time, everything around seemed to slow down, especially those things in motion, as if they were trapped in a stagnant space. This is dynamic vision. He realized that it was not the surroundings that slowed down, but he that sped up. The nerves are more sensitive and the reactions are faster, almost like a weakened version of spider sense. But spider sense has many other functions, even bordering on metaphysics. It cannot be compared with Compound Eyes. Even so, his superb visual field and dynamic vision can greatly increase his combat capabilities. Moreover, if he focuses his mental energy on his eyes, the effect will be even stronger. But after just a few seconds, he felt a little tired. His current mental attribute is 8 points, which is much stronger than that of ordinary people. It seems that there is still room for improvement in the ability of Compound Eyes. As soon as he thought of this, he knew how to distribute the 5 attribute points he had just obtained. Open the system page. Name, Cohen Wang. Age, 22 years old. Bloodline, human. Status, normal. Power, 7. Speed, 10. Defense, 7. Constitution, 5. Spirit, 10. Skills, Combat Master, Pistol Mastery, Trap Mastery. Abilities, Night Vision, Compound Eyes. Items, none. Instance, unlocked. Alternate Universe, unlocked. Main task, those who are guilty must be punished. Iron level prey, 2 out of 7. Newest quest, Bronze Hunt. Bronze prey 0/1. Creed, killed to gain redemption. 2 points for spirit, 3 points for acceleration, and he also has a proficient skill with pistols, which, combined with the compound eyes, allows him to kill people easily and quickly. He made up his mind to go for the gift pack route next, not caring about quality but only quantity. Hell's Kitchen is about to usher in a bloody storm. Oh my God! I really don't understand why you want to be a knight of God. Why not open a restaurant? You will surely win over half of New York's diners. David shouted as he stuffed a large piece of braised pork into his mouth, not caring at all about the thick soup flowing onto his beard. He has moved to the guest room on the second floor. Humph! Cohen said proudly. I learned this from a chef in a hotel that was about to go bankrupt. This is real skill. With this kind of skills, can it still go bankrupt? Is your Chinese restaurant industry so competitive? Hey! Cohen sighed. Of course it's not because his cooking skills are not up to par, but because he adds technology and hard work to the food. Ah? David, who was eating with big mouthfuls of food, was stunned for a moment. Among these dishes, Cohen rolled his eyes and said, why would I add those things to my own food? He originally added it to reduce costs, but unfortunately, his customers found out and the business went bankrupt within a few days. That's good. David breathed a sigh of relief. How's the investigation going on with those two bad cops, Jaden and Isaac? David chewed his food and said, I hacked into the New York Police Department and found the two guys you mentioned. They are indeed corrupt police, and there seems to be a powerful mercenary behind them. But for now, I haven't found out the identity of this employer. I only found out that they may be related to a company. What company? What's it called? United Construction Company, that should be the name. Cohen was shocked. This name was very familiar, because it was the company of New York Underground boss Kingpin. What a coincidence. David, I'll give you a name, Wilson Fisk. Make him your top priority. Report any situation to me immediately. David frowned. Wilson? Who is he? Don't you want to investigate the people behind the two corrupt policemen? Why don't you try to trace it backwards from Wilson? David stopped all his movements, with a strange light in his eyes. Did God give you instructions again? Cohen curled his lips and said, Humph, stop asking about my relationship with God. To assist Cohen, David used his top hacking skills to hack into a number of cameras and the police department's communications system. Cohen was not satisfied yet, so he took advantage of the night to install a number of sensors and even cameras in many tricky corners of Hell's Kitchen. The goal is to have an alarm system that covers the entire Hell's Kitchen. Although it cost tens of thousands of dollars, for David, a top hacker, it was just a drop in the bucket. After making all the preparations, he took action. It was a normal night in Hell's Kitchen. A Punisher dressed in black and wearing a devil mask officially appeared in everyone's sight. At the dock, a container was unloaded from the ship. Several masked men in black opened the door, revealing a dozen ragged women inside. There are Eastern European, Black, and Asian faces. The man in black raised the gun in his hand and shouted, Everyone come out! I will kill anyone who dares to shout! But behind them, a dark shadow appeared. Bang, 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 bang! The gun went off, the shell fell to the ground, and blood spurted out. The women's screams echoed through the night sky, and when they calmed down, there was no one in front of them. In the back kitchen of the pub, a few thugs were distributing drugs. They scrambled for more goods, and even pulled out guns to confront each other. I want 2 kilos! Shit, do you have that much money? Fuck, do you look down on our number 16 blood gang? Suddenly, a dark shadow flashed past the window. Who? A group of people rushed out, but at some point, all the lights outside went out. In the darkness, they could not see anything. In an instant, a fire snake bloomed, and dense bullets from the submachine gun shot into their bodies. After one magazine was fired, a group of people were lying in a pool of blood. In a remote warehouse, 2 groups were conducting an arms deal. Haha, it's a pleasure working with you. Come to me next time if you need anything. I'll give you a 10% discount. Thank you in advance. You bought so many things, what do you want to do? Do you need help? Humph, you ask too many questions. Ha ha, then I won't ask. I'll give you the money and the goods. You just clap. Suddenly, all the lights in the warehouse went out. Assholes, you actually want to rob your fellow thieves. Kill them for me. Suddenly, gunfire broke out. No one noticed that there was a figure in the dark night, like an agile cheetah, calmly reaping every life. In just 3 days, the entire Hell's Kitchen was in a panic. In the past, good people didn't dare to appear on the streets of Hell's Kitchen at night. Now, bad guys don't dare to appear on the streets of Hell's Kitchen at night. NYPD. George Stacy, who had just been promoted to chief, was yelling at his police officers. Why haven't you found anything yet? It's been 3 whole days. Do you know how many people that demon face killed? 57. 3 days, 57 people. It is impossible for so many American soldiers in the Afghan battlefield to die in 3 days. This is a slap in the face to the NYPD. Someone muttered. But those who died were criminals and gang members. Who is speaking? George Stacy's eyes flashed with a terrifying light. I don't care whether the dead deserve to die or not, but they should be judged by the law, not some street vigilante. It was okay with the red suit before, but now killing people directly is too much. This is simply contempt for the police, contempt for the government, and contempt for the law. I don't care what means you use, just catch that devil face for me. Yes. Many senior police officers standing off the field all obeyed the order. Suddenly, the entire New York Police Department was operating at high speed. Not only the New York police want to catch Cohen, but also many gangs in Hell's Kitchen. They even temporarily put aside their hatred and held an underground meeting. Humph, if we let Devilface continue to do this, will we still be able to do business? Starting today, we jointly issue a killing order for the underworld. Anyone who can provide clues will be rewarded with $100,000, and anyone who can kill the demon face will be rewarded with $5 million. Also, everyone, go back and put pressure on those police officers and politicians who gave us evidence. We, the black and white forces, will work together to take him down. Someone chuckled and said, I think we can add Daredevil into the mix and take him out together. It is good. Just do it. Emma Church. Cohen stopped for the time being. He received several gift packs one after another, and his strength increased a lot. In a flash, opened the system panel. Name, Cohen Wong. Age, 22 years old. Bloodline, human. Status, normal. Power, 10. Speed, 13. Defense, 7. Constitution, 7. Spirit, 15. Skills, Combat Master, Pistol Mastery, Trap Mastery, Swimming Mastery, Sniper Proficiency. Abilities, Night Vision, Compound Eyes. Items, none. Instance, unlocked. Alternate Universe, unlocked. Main task, those who are guilty must be punished. Iron Level Prey 4/17. Newest quest, Bronze Hunt. Bronze Prey 0/1. Creed, killed to gain redemption. In addition to the 13 attribute points, he also gained 2 skills. One is swimming proficiency and the other is sniping proficiency. He is now basically certain that skills are also divided into many levels. The current guess is that they should be skilled, proficient, and master levels. There may be more above, but it is unknown now. As the number of black iron level prey required increases, the benefits of hunting small karami have become smaller and smaller. Next, we need to focus on bronze level prey. He already has a target, Senior Homeland Security Agent Carson Wolf. The corrupt policeman who participated in the CIA drug trafficking and shot David off the bridge. After deciding on Carson Wolf as his next target, David got busy. He has been looking forward to this enemy for a long time. However, as a senior agent, Wolf is still very cautious and he needs to make a perfect plan. As for Cohen, he was fulfilling his duties as a priest and holding a long-awaited community gathering. The event included singing, prayers, children's performances, and a free lunch. When Father Emma was around, There was no spare energy to deal with these things, so Cohen's behavior won unanimous praise from fellow church members and surrounding residents. A group of children were running around in the church, and the atmosphere was harmonious and beautiful. David also went downstairs to join in the prayer, which calmed his anxious heart a little. In the evening, after the event, Cohen was picking up lunch trash in the backyard. Jingle bell! A crisp bell rang. He was slightly stunned. It was the bell of the confession room. Someone was coming. When we arrived at the small hall, one of the confessionals had already closed its door. He has only been a priest for a few days, but he has already helped several people confess. The pressure in Hell's Kitchen is really great. Hello, I am Father Cohen, your confessor this time. A male voice came from the other side, with a hint of surprise in it. Are you not Father Emma? Father Emma has gone to the Vatican. I will be the agent of Emma Church for the next few months. The man opposite paused and sighed. Forget it, everyone is the same. My name is Wesley and my life is a bunch of shit. I have a fat female boss who loves to find fault with people. That big mouth chatters all the time, like a fly buzzing in your head. I have another girlfriend, but she cheated on me with my best friend. I live in the cheapest apartment, and every time the subway passes by, the whole house shakes. And my crappy job is just like the women workers in the textile factories in the last century, being ruthlessly exploited by the boss. Cohen seemed to have some impression of this experience. His name was Wesley and his life was miserable. Could it be? I have been without a father since I was a child, and I have a genetic disease that causes me to feel my heart racing and my vision distorted from time to time, and the only way to relieve this is by taking medicine. God, are you punishing me? Cohen was sure that he was Wesley, the man with extraordinary talent who could make bullets turn corners. After a moment of silence, the other party suddenly became excited. I want to kill them, Father. This thought came to my mind more than once. Kill them all. Chop off their heads one by one, that bastard couple and that fat woman, they all deserve to die. After letting the other party vent, Cohen began to comfort him in a low voice. Wesley, each of us lives under rules. Laws, morals, and company regulations. This society is so cruel and ruthless. But we are living people, facing the sun and looking for light. Settle your heart, Wesley. Believe that good things are about to happen. Believe that your destiny is about to change. Ha ha. Wesley laughed sarcastically. Cohen didn't mind. Wesley, do you believe in God? Okay. God has given me instructions that your destiny is about to change. But I want to remind you to be careful in your choice. If you feel lost, please come here and God will guide you. The other party was silent for a long time, as if digesting these words. Father, God already knows everything. Don't be blinded by seemingly lofty and grand ideals, and don't let yourself live in regret. The door here is always open to you. Confused, Wesley left in confusion. Looking at his back, Cohen raised the corners of his mouth and couldn't suppress his smile. Wesley, the protagonist of the movie Assassins of Legends, unexpectedly appeared in this world. There are a lot of good things in the Assassin's League, such as bullet-bending techniques, body repair pools, and a large number of top killers. If you get a chance, get them. Bang, bang, bang! In the middle of the night, just as Cohen fell asleep, there was a knock on his door. Get up, Daredevil got beaten! What? Cohen jumped up and hurried to David's room. The huge screen should be a drone's perspective. Under the dark night, beside the street, more than a dozen fire lines were shooting in the same direction. Several cars were blown up and the fire spread instantly. Cohen tilted his ears slightly and could hear faint explosions coming from a distance. What's going on? Where's Daredevil? David rubbed his hands nervously. He was beaten down. Just now, when he was flying in the sky, he was suddenly knocked down by a cold gunshot. Then a dozen fully armed elite gunmen surrounded him and started fighting. He pointed at several gunmen on the screen and said, Look, they are providing cover and changing magazines while moving. Their quality is almost comparable to that of Delta Force. They are definitely elite. Daredevil can't even show his head. Moreover, the person who initially injured him has not shown up yet, so he must be aiming at him somewhere. Hiss! Cohen gasped. Could it be that the Daredevil in this world got a script that resulted in him dying young? But looking at this scene, he really couldn't imagine how Daredevil could turn the tables. Unless someone comes to rescue? But at this point in time, he couldn't think of any hero who could come to save him. A strong sense of curiosity arose in his heart. At this time, does Daredevil still have the aura of the protagonist? I'd like to see. At this moment, the system that had not been active before suddenly rang. Ding! A temporary task is issued. Punish evil. Mission content. It is better to prevent it in advance than to punish it after the fact. Kill the team hunting Daredevil. Mission time limit. Before Daredevil's death or after the murderer's death. Mission rewards. Reward packages will be given based on the completion status. I am Chow. Cohen's eyes widened instantly. Damn it, I became Daredevil's NPC. After thinking for a few seconds, I decided to save him for the sake of the system reward. He immediately ordered David. Raise the drone and find the sniper. David was shocked. What are you going to do? God told me that Daredevil is a good man and cannot be allowed to die. What? God is a saintly bitch? David blurted out the words only. Realizing something was wrong after they were out of his mouth, he glanced at Cohen secretly. This was blasphemous. Would this so-called knight not kill him? Cohen glanced at him and said, The Virgin Mary is the mother of Jesus, the woman of God, don't be a whore, understand? Cough, cough. David swallowed and said, Yes, I understand. Even though he usually acts like he's not afraid of Cohen, deep down he already treats him as a murderer. After all, Cohen, who he knew, had killed dozens of people, let alone those he didn't know. After changing into black clothes and putting on a demon mask, Cohen quickly approached the battlefield. However, he did not rush into the battle, but waited for the news in the headset. Seeing several more cars being blown up, a flower of blood burst out of Daredevil's body. After rolling into an empty house, David's voice finally rang out. Sniper spotted, he's 15 degrees southeast of you. He spotted the drone. Damn it, he's attacking the drone. David's exasperated voice came from the communicator. Damn it, fuck. Knight, the drone has been shot down, A few seconds ago. When David shouted that the drone was under attack, Cohen had already rushed out. He appeared behind the gunman to the right, his mental power extremely concentrated, his compound eyes used to the fullest extent. The movements of a dozen or so gunmen suddenly slowed down. Bang, bang, bang. Both guns are raised horizontally, flames spray out, and bullets are fired. 2 Glock 17 pistols, 38 rounds of bullets were emptied in an instant. Most of the dozen gunmen were knocked down immediately. The remaining few people looked back and saw a demon mask flash by in the darkness. One of them was instantly filled with fear and immediately shouted into the communicator. Devil Face, it's Devil Face, he's coming! He was in league with Daredevil, and he killed most of us in one fell swoop. Mission failed, request to retreat, mission failed. Boom! A bullet pierced his temple and his powerless body collapsed to the ground. Cohen did not fire the gun. A sinister voice came from the gunman's communicator. Just in time! Daredevil and Demon Face are all my targets. Kill them all! I will kill anyone who dares to retreat. Go forward and kill Daredevil! After the successful attack, Cohen did not stop, but took advantage of the cover of darkness and quickly moved towards the sniper's location. He was familiar with the terrain of Hell's Kitchen and would never expose himself to anyone. While running, he asked David, Did you see who the sniper was? He was wearing a black uniform with white stripes and his face could not be seen. The only special thing is that there is a bullseye mark on the forehead mask. I am hacking into the police system to check, please wait. No, nothing was found. Wait, I hacked into the Homeland Security Bureau's inquiry network. No need to check, I know who he is. What? Bullseye, Daredevil's nemesis. Hee, no wonder he was beaten so badly. David's puzzled voice came from the headset. Why do I feel like you are gloating over his misfortune? If you hate him, why do you save him? No, I don't hate him, I just don't like him. He was a good man with great moral character, but it was his code of conduct that I always despised. Idealistic, innocent, and even a little simple. He wanted to change this dirty world, but he was unwilling to even get his hands stained with blood. He didn't want to be awakened by nightmares in the middle of the night, nor did he want to go to the 18 levels of hell after death, so he was doomed to fail. On this point, I even somewhat agree with Jean Bing's philosophy that only blood and death can create order, even if it is a dark order. The person on the other end of the headset was stunned for a long time. To be honest, you are not a knight of God, but a spokesperson for the devil, right? Haha, it's just a thought. Is the second drone in place? It was already healed, but the distance was too far, so I could only see him and couldn't see his movements clearly. Enough. With David's guidance, Cohen quickly approached the floor where Bullseye was. He went upstairs quietly and rushed out of the rooftop door. The pistol sprayed flames, and a dozen bullets were fired mercilessly at the prone figure. Bang, bang, bang. As he watched the bullet hit, he instantly realized something was wrong. There was no blood. Hee, you didn't think I didn't notice that sneaky drone. Before he could finish his words, several bullets flew towards Cohen. He glared and everything around him slowed down again. He dodged and escaped back to the rooftop door through which he had come out. Target Eye, who was naked except for his underwear, was stunned for a moment. Wow, what a quick reaction. Cohen touched the bloody marks on his face from the bullets and cursed. Fuck, guys with a little fame are really hard to kill. David, what happened? The person lying on the rooftop was a uniform, and you didn't even notice it? David was also shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. How did he find the drone? Fuck, we're so far away, of course I can't tell whether it's real or fake. Watch out, he's coming in. Cohen frowned and asked. Come in? Okay, I'll beat you to death. Bullseye just flashed into the rooftop door. Cohen raised his gun and fired. Bullseye fired back, but there were too many corners in the stairwell, and both of them were unsuccessful. When Bullseye was reloading, Cohen suddenly rushed and knocked the gun out of his hand, and then a set of military boxing, punching each one to the flesh. Bullseye was caught off guard. He never expected that Demon Face was also a fighting master whose close combat ability was no less than Daredevil. Fortunately, his strength was not weak. After being hit by a sneak attack and getting a black eye, he reacted quickly and fought Cohen on equal terms. The scene was at a stalemate for a while. Cohen gritted his teeth, held up his exhausted spirit, concentrated again, and instantly delivered 3 critical punches. Bullseye's body was bent down by the blow, and Cohen took this opportunity to tackle him and throw him directly down the stairwell, knocking him unconscious. Bullseye was overwhelmed by pain and lay on the ground groaning. Take advantage of his illness to kill him. The one in front of me is a bronze-level prey. Picking up the pistol and pressing it against his forehead, Cohen hesitated. There was no fear in the other person's eyes at all. It would be a big loss if the first bronze-level prey didn't get a 5-star rating. In the past few days he has deeply felt the huge gap between non-5-star gift packages and 5-star gift packages. One is powerful night vision, compound eyes and other abilities, the other is just 3 or 4 attribute values, and you need extreme luck to unlock mastery-level skills. Bullseye spat out a mouthful of bloody saliva. Hey, Devilface, you are lucky this time. If there is a next time, I will definitely kill you. With that piece of shit Daredevil. Before he could finish his words, Cohen grabbed him by the neck, dragged him to the rooftop, and left him half hanging on the edge of the balcony. The ground was dozens of meters below, but there was still not much fear in Bullseye's eyes. He even noticed the hesitation in Cohen's eyes and was puzzled. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you afraid? Cohen's eyes turned. Rip. He tore the last pair of underwear on Bullseye's body and said, Are you afraid of dying like this? Bullseye's eyes widened instantly, and there was finally a hint of fear in his voice. What are you going to do? Your fear is not enough. Cohen waved his hand toward the sky. Drone, record him, and after he dies, project the video onto the screens in Times Square in New York City, and play it on a loop. You can kill me, but you can't insult me. I won't die. It was unknown where he got the strength from, but Bullseye suddenly broke free from Cohen's hand, jumped down, grabbed the railing on the next floor, and continued to jump down. Cohen was delighted to see his awkward movements. He raised a wicked smile and said, "Little thing, you can't escape from my palm." He runs away, he chases, he can't fly. Bullseye was seriously injured, but he just had one last burst of adrenaline to come down from the upstairs. But he started to run out of energy before he had run far. Cohen is a hunter enjoying his last moments of pleasure. Unfortunately, David interrupted him. "Attention, Knight. Daredevil takes out the remaining gunmen and heads your way." Cohen frowned and said, "That guy was shot more than once, can he still fight?" "Not only that, the wound is still dripping with blood. You say you are God's knight, but I feel he is God's own son. This guy must have a very high spiritual attribute, right?" Without waiting, Cohen chased after Bullseye, grabbed the back of his neck with his left hand, and clenched his sandbag-sized fist with his right hand. Boom! One punch, nose blood splattered. Bullseye's hand weakly grasped his arm to resist his destruction. Boom! Bullseye's arms dropped down, and he fell into a coma. The third fist raised high. "Stop!" Daredevil arrived as expected. But Cohen turned a deaf ear. Boom! The third punch landed hard. "The task has been updated and can be viewed." Daredevil angrily rebuked. "He has lost the ability to resist. Why kill him?" "I killed someone to save you, Daredevil. How can you blame me?" Daredevil was so angry that his teeth were grinding, but the devil face in front of him did save his life. He suppressed his anger and asked coldly, "Forget about him, but why did you start a massacre in Hell's Kitchen? Do you know how many people you killed?" "Of course I know." Cohen shrugged. "I remember it better than anyone, actually." "You are a devil. They are all people who deserve to be killed. They should also be handed over to the law for judgment. You're a violent criminal, so don't mention the law, okay? You didn't break the law? I didn't kill anyone. You're no better than me. A crime is a crime. It has nothing to do with whether someone is killed or not. You." The sound of sirens came from a distance, and Daredevil looked at him hatefully. "I will definitely stop you from killing people. Just try it." Before police arrived, Cohen had walked away from the area and circled back to the church. Lying on the bed, I turned on the system and several reward messages popped up. Temporary mission: Punishing Evil has been completed. Completion level: 4 stars. Mission reward: Master level skill upgrade card, free attribute value 5. Mission accomplished. Character level: Black Iron level. Upgrade: Not upgraded. Cause of death: Shooting. Freshness: 1 star. End of life emotion: Fear. Sentiment rating: 3 stars. Comprehensive task evaluation: 2 stars. Reward: Black Iron 2-star gift pack. Congratulations on triggering the first 10 kill streak reward, free attribute value 10. Mission accomplished. Character level: Bronze. Upgrade: Not upgraded. Method of death: Killed by punch. Freshness: 5 stars. End of life emotion: Fear. Emotional rating: 5 stars. Comprehensive task evaluation: 5 stars. Special rewards for 5-star reviews: gift packages are being upgraded. Reward: Bronze 5-star gift package, Double Luck. This time it can be said to be a great harvest. In addition to temporary tasks, I also completed the Iron level 17 kill task, a 10 kill streak, and the Bronze first kill. This was the first time he received the skill upgrade card as a reward, and he obtained the information about it with just a thought. Can upgrade any skill, but can only be used to upgrade mastery level skills to master level. Currently, he has 3 skills to use: pistol, trap, and swimming, but there is no rush. Let's open the gift pack first. Open the Iron gift pack. Congratulations on receiving the reward, free attribute value 3. Gift packs below 5 stars are indeed of little value. The final highlight, the 5-star bronze gift pack. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Dragon Chi. Soon, he felt an extra force in his body. With a thought, the force naturally flowed to his fist. Then his fist glowed and became extremely hard, like red-hot steel. Dry. Cohen was a little dumbfounded. This was clearly Iron Fist's ability, right? Wait, if I could use it on my hands, maybe. Under his control, the dragon energy flowed downwards. Hiss. Wow, this is awesome. Is this an ability that can be obtained from a bronze-level gift package? Even the gold level is too low. It was not until now that he felt that he had enough capital to gain a foothold in the Marvel world. After rolling around on the bed a few times and calming down, I started allocating attribute values and using skill upgrade cards on my pistol skills. Open the system interface. Name, Cohen Wong. Age, 22 years old. Bloodline, human. Condition, normal. Power, 15. Speed, 15. Defense, 10. Constitution, 10. Spirit, 20. Skills, Combat Master, Pistol Master, Trap Master, Swim Master, Sniper Proficiency. Abilities, Night Vision, Compound Eyes, Dragon Spirit. Items, none. Instance, unlocked. Alternate Universe, unlocked. Main task, those who are guilty must be punished. Iron level prey, 0/19. Bronze prey, 0 out of 3. Newest mission, Silver Hunt. Silver level prey, 0 to 1. Creed, killed to gain redemption. With such physical strength and the burst of dragon energy, I will definitely give that ungrateful guy a good beating next time. The next day, the church opened as usual. David continued to monitor his target Wolf on the second floor. Although he had completed his first bronze kill, the second and third 5-star bronze gift packages still required careful planning. Cohen listened to the confessions of believers as he did in the past. Because he held a lot of church activities in the past few days, Emma Church suddenly became quite famous in the surrounding area. After more than 10 minutes, he sent the confessor away with a smile on his face. Turning around, he called David upstairs. David, list this guy named Jack as your immediate target. His sins urgently need God's forgiveness. At this moment, a man in a suit and tie suddenly came to the door. Cohen recognized him at a glance, a man who must appear in the novice village. Coulson came over with a smile on his face. Hello, Father, I am Phil Coulson, affiliated with the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. Can we talk about this? Agent Coulson, hello, I didn't hear which department you are from. It's called Homeland. Homeland Defense. Strategic Homeland Defense and Logistics, Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau. Oh, I remember that. Coulson looked a little embarrassed, and quickly changed the subject. Can we talk about this? Of course. Cohen looked around and found several believers praying silently in the small hall, so he said, Let's go to the garden. In the garden, there is a scent of flowers, and the originally sparse flowers and plants are blooming luxuriantly. The passing of one life may bring life to another, just as when a whale dies, all things come to life. Cohen looked back at Agent Coulson, whose hairline was worrying. The system did not indicate to him that the person in front of him was a prey. He was a little curious and wondered whether the black salted eggs would be identified as prey by the system. What do you want from me, Agent Coulson? A murderer has recently appeared in Hell's Kitchen. Has Father Cohen heard of it? Certainly. You mean the daredevil in the red leather jacket and the double-horned devil hat? Coulson was stunned for a moment, and quickly said, No, I mean the crazy killer, the devil face. Oh. Cohen looked as if he had suddenly realized something. I thought there was no difference between the two of them. Why? Coulson was very confused and a trace of doubt arose in his heart. Cohen pointed to the confessional outside. I have heard too many people confess to me, some of whom tearfully accused Daredevil of his inhumane behavior. But as for the demon face you mentioned, strangely, no one has anything bad to say about him. Coulson looked at him speechlessly. Are you sure you don't know why? He shook his head and said, Actually, I came here this time just to find out if you have any clues about the devil's face. Cohen's heart skipped a beat and he frowned slightly. Why are you asking me? Coulson shrugged. Like you said just now, with so many people coming to you to confess, there must be some clues, right? This? Cohen shook his head. Agent Coulson, I'm sorry I can't help you. Everything that happens in the confessional is a secret. I have a duty to keep it confidential. No, Father. You don't have to tell us any specific information, names of people, places, or what happened, just give us a clue or a hint. I think God will not blame you, because your actions may save hundreds of lives. Alas, but I will blame myself. Cohen looked worried and sighed. Just when Coulson thought he wouldn't say anything, the other side spoke faintly. I heard that the origin of the demon face seems to have something to do with Daredevil. But I don't know the specifics, so you may have to check it yourself. After receiving the news, Coulson left Emma Church with a frown on his face. He came to Emma Church just to try his luck, but he didn't expect to discover some unexpected information. Originally, the news of Devil Face's rise in Hell's Kitchen did not attract their attention. It wasn't until Bullseye was killed that they realized this. Devil Face seemed more powerful than they expected. But now, why is he entangled with Daredevil? After thinking for a while, I decided to check Daredevil as well. He made a phone call. Director, I would like to apply to include Daredevil as a key target in this investigation. He was also on the watch list before, so let's check it out together. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a while, and then a deep black voice came. I know. Hell's Kitchen has become a battleground for various forces. In plain sight, the streets were almost entirely filled with police cars, roaring in and roaring out. If you walk on the street at night, you will find a police car hidden in some corner, ready to go. In a short period of time, the public security in Hell's Kitchen instantly surpassed that of the Upper East Side where wealthy people lived, and it became a model place for public security in New York City. The residents here had never seen such a scene before, and they even felt a little grateful to Devil Face. Secretly, gunmen and killers hired by the gangs were also lurking in every corner. They stay up all night just to get the wanted warrant of the underworld, hoping to become famous and get a huge reward. Even the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have moved in. However, they use high-tech means. Special drones like birds were scattered on the streets of Hell's Kitchen, waiting for their prey to come. In the middle of the night, Coulson suddenly woke up from his nap and took a look at the densely packed surveillance images on the screen. Did you find anything? No, he never showed up. Where's Daredevil? Still guarding the rooftop? The technician adjusted a perspective, and in the center of the picture, Daredevil was sitting on the edge of the rooftop of a tall building like an old monk. It is the highest point in Hell's Kitchen, and any movement in the entire area can be quickly detected. Coulson sighed. He had tried to communicate with Daredevil, but no matter what method he used, once he got within 50 meters of him, this guy would leave immediately. Don't give him a chance to talk at all. Sir, Devil Face hasn't appeared for 3 days. Could he have left Hell's Kitchen? Coulson hesitated and said, It's possible. Let's wait and see. If he doesn't show up, this mission will end here. Cohen, who was being sought by all 4 forces, was not in Emma Church at this time. He sneaked into an upscale neighborhood in Brooklyn. This is where Carson Wolf, a senior agent of the Department of Homeland Security, lives. Cohen walked to the front door of a villa, took out his key and gently opened the door. David monitored Wolf for more than a month and even hacked into the alarm cameras in his home. Photos of his house keys appeared many times in the video. After making and comparing them many times, he successfully copied one. Carson Wolf suddenly felt a chill while sleeping. He opened his eyes drowsily, and under the cold moonlight, there was a figure standing in front of his bed. Who? Before he could react, a fist hit him in the face, and then he knew nothing. An abandoned construction site in the suburbs. The unconscious Wolf was awakened by a basin of ice water. He immediately realized that he was trapped and hung up by his hands, with his shoes and socks taken off and standing on a cold steel plate. He couldn't help but struggle. Okay, stop struggling. Sitting in front of him was a young Asian man, looking at him with a smile. Next to him, a man wearing a puppet mask came over with a brazier and squatted in front of him. Who are you and what are you going to do? The puppet-masked man placed the brazier under the steel plate and asked in a low voice. Agent Wolf, do you like teppanyaki? I bet you won't like it after today. Feeling the gradually heating up steel plate, Wolf felt fear in his heart. Who are you? The puppet mask looked him in the eyes. If I said I was a soldier, would you be scared? Wolf gritted his teeth and said, You are not a soldier at all. You don't have the temperament of an American soldier. Hee, what kind of temperament? Is it the temperament of having your chest and abdomen hollowed out, stuffed with heroin, shipped to the United States, and helping you make a fortune? Wolf's face turned pale instantly. The puppet mask chuckled. See, you know very well that I didn't find the wrong person. I can give you money, 1 million, no, 10 million. Let me go and I will give you money. The steel plate heated up, and the remaining water stains on it evaporated with a sizzling sound. Wolf held his feet up in a difficult position. The puppet mask shook his head. Today, it's all about revenge. Looking at the slightly hunched figure of the puppet mask, a face flashed through his mind like lightning. You are impossible, you are dead. David took off the puppet mask, his face full of hatred. You are not dead, how can I die? Wolf looked incredulous. How is this possible? I clearly shot you in the heart. David didn't answer his question at all, but just roared to himself. Today, I will not only avenge myself, but also those soldiers you have blasphemed, and all those people you have betrayed, deceived, and killed. You will die today. Wolf's body eventually became weak, and his feet touched the red-hot steel plate. In an instant, tragic howls filled the entire construction site. The pain triggered his adrenaline, and he put his feet up again. But there came a time when he couldn't hold on any longer. I was wrong, I'm sorry, please let me go, I'll give you all my money, please let me go. Unfortunately, no matter how he shouted, Cohen and David left without looking back. Actually, I still really want his money. David shrugged. Who says I can't get paid without him? What? Cohen was surprised. Can you just hack into the bank? Of course not. But do you think I controlled his home camera just to copy a key? When he logged into his account one time, I saw his account and password through the reflection of the glass behind him. Fuck, great job. How much? 16 million. He had 3 secret accounts. But unfortunately we only got access to this one during the surveillance. I should have killed him later. David gave me a resentful look. The 2 men sat in the old pickup truck, listening to the howling sounds coming. About half an hour later, Cohen looked at his watch and said, The poison is about to take effect. After a while, a prompt came from the system, bronze level task, 1/3. The way back was not easy because they needed to avoid forces from all sides, so they could only take a detour slowly under David's command. Cohen saw Daredevil's back from a distance and spat. Bah, bastard, I really want to shoot him. David was operating his mobile phone all the time. His mobile phone was connected to the equipment in the church and could be controlled remotely. Hey, I have good news. I found evidence of the crimes committed by those 2 corrupt policemen. In addition, they accidentally discovered some information about their boss, the guy named Wilson. He seems to have become more refined recently and often goes to a gallery. Gallery? What's it called? Vanessa. Hey, did the bald fat guy find true love? What? David looked at him in confusion. Please keep an eye on this gallery for me. Why? Cohen chuckled and said, I just got so much money, and I want to support the arts. Maybe you can even marry a beautiful woman. Vanessa Gallery. Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, stands in front of a painting filled entirely with white paint. Vanessa Mariana walked up behind him. There used to be a joke among children, picking up a blank piece of paper and asking, What is this? Jean didn't say anything. Vanessa smiled and said, "It's the bunny in the snowstorm." She looked at the man in front of her who was admiring her painting, and a sense of curiosity arose in her heart, so she continued to ask, "How does it make you feel?" Jean Bing turned around, his lips moved slightly, and he was about to answer when a deep and magnetic voice suddenly sounded behind him. "Loneliness, it makes me feel boundless loneliness." He paused, holding back what he wanted to say. He turned around and his expression changed. Dressed in black and wearing a demon mask on his face, Kingpin quickly regained his composure. He took a half step forward and slightly blocked Vanessa. "The whole Hell's Kitchen is looking for you. I didn't expect you to appear here. Baldy, move aside." Cohen waved his hand, signaling him to move aside. He bowed slightly to Vanessa. "Hi, hello, distinguished lady. If I'd buy this painting, I wonder if I can have dinner with you tonight?" Looking at the devil face in front of her that has become famous recently, Vanessa's body stiffened and her voice sounded a little uncomfortable. The man in front of her was a famous murderer. "Mr. Devilface, if you like, I can give you the painting." Hey. Cohen smiled and took a step forward. "Actually, I never understood anything about art. I just thought that since the artist was so beautiful, the painting must be beautiful too." A big question mark popped up in Vanessa's heart. Could this guy be trying to pick me up? God, he wouldn't eat people, would he? After being ignored for a long time, Jean Bing finally couldn't stand it anymore. He took a step forward and said, "Mr. Devilface, I've always wanted to be friends with you. How about we have dinner together today?" Cohen looked him up and down and said, "Bald donkey, what good food can I have for you?" A cruel smile appeared on Jean Bing's lips and eyes. "I have wanted to meet you for a long time. Can you give me a chance? Maybe we can work together," Cohen said with a smile in his voice. "You are a gangster who sells drugs, smuggles people, kills and burns people, kidnaps and rapes people, and forces women into prostitution. What good deal can I have with you?" Jean Bing's face instantly turned pale, and he lowered his voice to say in a hoarse voice, "Do you know what you are doing? You are playing with fire." Cohen narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, "Really? Why do I feel like I'm playing with you? You wanna die?" The enraged Kingpin punched at him, and Cohen stretched out his hand to block it, but a huge force came at him, and even with his 15 points of strength, he couldn't stop it. He had to take a few steps back to absorb the force. However, with the help of speed, I can still deal with him. The two men fought, and the wind howled, but they restrained themselves from causing damage to the gallery. Cohen sighed in his heart. It seems that killing Jean Bing, a silver-level target, is not that easy. As expected, he is a guy who can fight Spider-Man back and forth. Apart from his brain, muscles are probably the only thing left on his body. Kingpin attacked continuously, and Cohen mainly dodged, shouting, Oh, the gangster finally showed his true colors. "Seen you in a suit and tie, I thought you were a decent person, but it turns out you are also a criminal in the underworld." Taking the time to look at Vanessa, who was horrified, Cohen took a few steps back and distanced himself from Kingpin. "Since I am not welcome here, I will come back another day. Miss Vanessa, I hope you can agree to have dinner with me next time." Jean Bing knew that he couldn't do anything to the other party, so he could only let him leave. Looking at his back, the anger in his heart had reached its peak. Trying hard to calm himself, he wanted to apologize to Vanessa, but as soon as he turned around, Vanessa avoided his gaze as if she had been electrocuted. His heart suddenly turned cold. He wanted to say something but stopped, and finally left in silence. Blowing in the night breeze, Cohen was in a good mood. He was honored to witness the love of the Emperor of the Underworld. This night was worth the trip. The news of Devilface's return was quickly discovered by various forces, and they gathered in the gallery in an instant. When they arrived, Cohen and Kingpin had already left. The police, gangster gunmen, and killers gradually dispersed. But Kingpin undoubtedly attracted the attention of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil. The next morning, regardless of the situation outside, Cohen led a few devout believers to pray, and David also mixed in. This is his latest way of relieving stress. A little boy of about 12 or 13 ran in hurriedly. As soon as he came in, he grabbed Cohen's hand tightly and said, "Father, it's bad. My neighbor's sister is possessed by a demon." Everyone opened their eyes in surprise and gathered around. "The sister next door went out last night, and came back this morning, and she locked herself in the house. At first I thought she was too tired, but she suddenly let out a horrible howl, veins popped out all over her body, and she struggled on the bed." David frowned. "She lives next door to you. How do you know so much?" "I saw it through the hole in the wall. We often talk through the hole in the wall. She must be possessed by a demon. Please save her, Father." A believer recognized him and said, "Don't panic, Danny. We will help you. Well, with God and Father Cohen here, we are not afraid of any monsters or demons. Since Father Cohen has the opportunity to intern in the Vatican for a year, it means that he is deeply blessed by God. He will definitely be able to save your sister." "Really, Father? She is usually very nice to me. Please save her." Among the crowd, Cohen stood stiffly with a forced smile on his face. "God? Exorcism? Can I say I can't? If it were the original world, he would definitely be willing to go there, regardless of whether it was useful or not. But the Marvel Universe? Demons really exist. With his current abilities, he only has a 50% chance of defeating Captain America. How can he defeat the devil from hell? Mephisto, Torg, Satanish, Lucifer, Asmodeus. They don't count. Even small Karami like the Wind Demon, Water Demon, and Earth Demon are difficult for me to defeat." David noticed his expression and quietly moved closer. "What's wrong? You don't look well?" "I'm afraid of encountering demons." "Haha, just kidding, how could this world?" He sneered at first, then his expression changed. "Really?" Cohen rolled his eyes at him. "If God exists, why not the devil?" David thought for a moment and said, "Aren't you a knight of God? Do you finally believe it now?" David's eyes widened. "I have always believed in you, but I didn't believe you completely before. If you can really exorcise demons, I swear from now on, I will only trust you." "Ugh," Cohen sighed. "God really didn't teach me how to exorcise demons." Looking at the little boy's expectant eyes and the devout looks of the believers, he had to agree. Taking David with him, he soon came to a dilapidated apartment. They came to the girl's door. The door was locked, and there was no movement inside. Cohen gripped the door lock and took a deep breath. Crack! His hands turned red and bright, and with a squeeze, the door lock broke. When he pushed open the door, there was no demon in the room, only a girl unconscious on the bed. Cohen exhaled and was about to go forward to check when a system prompt suddenly came from his mind. Ding! A special race is discovered, and the vampire bloodline is unlocked. Vampire? At the same time, he also received another hint that the unconscious girl in front of him was actually a bronze-level prey. Prey? Is there something wrong with this girl? Or is it because she's a vampire? In this case, even the lowest level vampire starts at bronze level. Some thoughts suddenly came to Cohen's mind, but facing the temporarily innocent girl in front of him, he decided to try his best to save her. If it doesn't work, kill him in exchange for a gift bag. Carefully searching for knowledge about vampires in his past life memories, he suddenly had an idea. Allison. David, help me buy pharmaceutical-grade Allison immediately. It is good. As a top hacker, he quickly found the nearby pharmacy and rushed over without stopping. In the movie Blade, when the heroine was bitten, the hero's adoptive father Whistler suppressed her mutation by injecting Allison. But the success rate is only half. Even if successful, this method can only delay the disease for a few days, and the corresponding serum will eventually need to be injected. David quickly found Allison, and Cohen injected it into the girl. Now it all depends on whether she can hold on. David watched the whole process and said, "Is that all? I believe that garlic can exorcise demons, but what about holy water and the cross? Use whatever means you have, this is totally different from the exorcism I imagined." Cohen glared at him and lowered his voice. She wasn't possessed by a demon, she was bitten by a vampire. David was confused. Vampires? Do they really exist? They have existed for thousands of years, they are stronger than us, they have more wealth than us, and they suck our blood to survive. Compared to them, the big capitalists are pretty amiable. Doesn't that mean they control the entire world? That's not the case. The night belongs to vampires, and the day belongs to humans. Anything that never sees the sunlight will eventually become scum in the sewer. But they are indeed powerful and have many human supporters. Cohen paused and said, David, check what she did yesterday and who she came into contact with. Find the vampire who bit her and find out where they live. David understood what he meant. Got it. Cohen was not idle either. After working with David, he rented a large old dock next to the Hudson River, where he stored a lot of equipment he had picked up. There were a lot of guns and bullets, even the sniper rifle that Bullseye used to injure Daredevil last time was collected. He bought an electric furnace, melted silver, and made hundreds of silver-plated bullets, as well as a pair of sharp daggers that sparkled with silver. Although the fighting master is called a fighter, in fact, he can skillfully use any common cold weapons. Although the physical fitness of vampires in the Marvel world is far superior to that of ordinary people, and they are long-lived and immortal, their weaknesses are also very obvious. Ultraviolet rays, silver, and Allison can easily kill them. He stuffed the silver-plated bullets into the magazine one by one and put 2 Glock 17s on his waist. David called and found an address. The girl who was bitten went to a bar in Hell's Kitchen last night. At 3 or 4 in the morning, she was hugged by a boy of about 17 or 18 and came out of the back door of the bar. There happened to be a camera there that Cohen had secretly placed. In the dark back alley, the boy and the girl kissed passionately. Then the boy bit the girl's neck. The girl struggled, begged for mercy, and cried, but it was useless. After the blood was sucked, she was thrown to the ground like a rag. 2 hours later, she got up and staggered out of the back alley. David hacked into the bar's camera, the front door, and the boy drove away in a Ferrari. The camera captured the license plate, and David found the owner's information and an address. Brooklyn, an upscale neighborhood. Cohen drove his old pickup truck and circled the villa 3 times. The door was locked, the windows were closed, and there was a thick curtain to block out the sunlight. It looked like a very suitable place for vampires who hide during the day and come out at night to live. He went around to the back garden of the villa, parked the car, and sprinted forward, easily crossing the 2-meter-high wall. Looking up, I saw that the window on the second floor was open, with only a thick curtain to block out the light. There are many protruding parts on the outer wall of the villa, which makes it easy for Cohen to climb up. Through the curtains, I could hear regular breathing from inside. It looked like he was sleeping. I quietly opened the curtains and saw a luxurious bedroom. The boy was lying on the bed. What a coincidence. Cohen rolled over and sat directly on his chest, the silver-plated dagger resting lightly on his throat. Thorn! The smell of roasted meat hit me. The boy woke up in pain, his eyes flashing red. He felt the silver blade on his neck and dared not move rashly. Who are you? Yesterday, a girl was bitten at the Blue Rose Bar. Could that person be you? Who are you? The law enforcement team of the Elders' Council? She was just a farm girl from Ohio, and I asked around, and she wouldn't cause any trouble if she died. Cohen pinched his jaw hard. I am not some shitty law enforcement team. I am here for only one purpose, and that is to kill you and your entire family. The boy shuddered and widened his eyes. Why, who are you? Feeling the boy's trembling of fear, Cohen raised his eyebrows. Are you scared? Good? With force, the silver-plated dagger instantly pierced the boy's throat. His vocal cords were cut, and he could only make whimpering sounds. At the same time, the silver dagger caused him considerable damage, and he almost lost the strength to resist. Cohen dragged him out of bed and walked towards the window. The boy kept shaking his head, blood spilling all over the floor. He weakly slapped Cohen's arm, but it was useless, and he was still dragged to the window. Wow! The curtain opens. The weather today is not good, there are dark clouds. Even so, smoke began to come out of the boy's body. He twitched all over and tried to crawl into the dark, but Cohen grabbed him by the collar, pulled out the dagger, and threw him out. The boy's skin cracked like an onion, then his muscles melted away, and finally his bones turned to ashes. Crack! The door behind Cohen opened, revealing a little girl holding a rag doll. He was slightly stunned, but before he could do anything, the little girl suddenly let out a sharp roar, and climbed up the wall along the door frame like a spider. Her figure was extremely fast, and she rushed directly towards Cohen in a blur. Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots. Since being promoted to pistol master, his accuracy has skyrocketed. Originally, the master level had a hit rate of only about half when facing vampires whose physical fitness far exceeded that of ordinary people. Now, within the range of the pistol, it has been directly increased to 80% to 90%. Although the vampire girl was very fast, she was too close to him. 7 steps away, the gun is fast. Within 7 steps, the gun was accurate and fast. After 3 shots, the vampire girl had a bloody hole on her left leg and left foot, and she fell directly to the ground. The sun shone through the window, and smoke began to rise from her body. Wow! Cohen drew the curtains. The vampire girl who was howling in pain felt the pain eased and her eyes were full of confusion, but the next second, a needle pierced her neck. Diluted allicin solution effectively prolongs the time of death and increases the level of emotions. At this time, a middle-aged couple, a man and a woman, finally appeared at the door. Seeing the situation in the house, the woman showed her sharp fangs, her nails became sharp, and she pounced towards Cohen. The man held a large shotgun in his hand, aiming it at Cohen. Boom! The man's shotgun was incredibly powerful. It actually created a gap in the wall behind Cohen. Although he dodged, he was faced with the woman's sharp nails. In an instant, he concentrated his mind extremely, and avoided the fishy claws by a hair's breadth. At the same time, the guns were fired. Bang, bang, bang! Several bullets were fired and all hit the woman, one of which hit her heart. In an instant, the woman let out a desperate howl, and her body suddenly combusted without any fire, turning into a handful of ashes. The man became even more angry and fired repeatedly at Cohen. It's a pity that he doesn't fight often. Although he has the strong physique of a vampire, he doesn't have the corresponding combat awareness. As Cohen dodged easily, a dagger flew out and hit his gun hand. The shotgun immediately fell to the ground, and then 2 bullets hit his ankles, and he fell to the ground. Fuck, who are you? I've never messed with you. I am a human being. Are you sure you haven't messed with us? The man tried to turn over and sit up. My family are all pure blood. We have been given blood distributed by the elders since birth. We have never gone out hunting, nor have we killed anyone. Cohen smiled and said, It's none of my business. Killing you has nothing to do with you. The man said coldly, If you kill me, you will be hunted down by vampires endlessly. Really? Maybe in my eyes they are just prey seeking death. You're a vampire hunter. I've never heard of you. The man frowned. Cohen didn't answer. He stared at the man for a long time. Aren't you afraid? The man was startled, then suddenly burst into laughter. So you said all this nonsense to me just to scare me? His expression suddenly turned cold. I have lived for hundreds of years and I am no longer afraid of death. Don't even think about playing with me before you kill me. Boom! A silver-plated bullet pierced his head. In an instant, he also turned into black ash. TSK, what a pity. You can get the 5-star gift package for 3 kills, but you probably won't get the 5-star gift package for 5 kills. As the level of the prey increases, there will be more and more people like Vampire Men and Bullseye who are not afraid of death. If you want to achieve the highest emotional level, simple death is unlikely to work. And as the common ways of killing people have been exhausted, he might have to use a lot of brain power to get the 5-star gift package in the future. Sirens were heard in the distance, and the noise just now attracted a lot of attention. I picked up the shotgun and was about to leave, but when I glanced over, I saw an exquisite notebook on the bedside table. When I opened it, it turned out to be a diary. His eyes narrowed, and he was now basically certain that vampires started at the Browns level. From this perspective, they are indeed an excellent prey. Maybe there are clues to other vampires in there. Take them away. On the way back, I opened the 5-star gift package. Congratulations on receiving the reward, infrared vision. Another eye ability? A strange feeling surged into his eyes, and the world became warm in his eyes. Hot as red, cold as blue. The important thing is that even through the wall, he can see the red outline clearly. Not only infrared vision, but also some X-ray abilities. People who often play shooting games know that the most important thing in a gunfight is vision. Just like the concept of modern warfare, discover and destroy. The only pity is that his infrared vision can only detect enemies within a few dozen meters, which is exactly the range of a pistol. Old Pico was trembling, but still stubbornly brought Cohen back to the church. There was good news from David. The girl successfully woke up and temporarily regained her sanity. But Cohen knew that if the serum was not developed in time, she would eventually become a vampire. This task, of course, was given to Karen Watson, the heroine of the original Blade movie. In the original movie, after being bitten, she quickly developed a serum and even discovered an anticoagulant that could cause great damage to vampires. In the end, it was with the help of the anticoagulant that Blade was able to kill Frost, the villain who had gained the power of the blood god. When the girl learned about her situation, she went to the address David provided without hesitation. And Cohen obtained an important message from the diary he brought back. The vampire boy once attended a blood feast. The so-called blood feast is a vampire carnival hosted by Frost, the leader of the mixed-blood vampire faction. A dark nightclub, frantic music, the chosen sacrifice, and blood all over the place. With this trick, plus Frost's outstanding business talent, he attracted many vampires and his prestige grew. It even reached the point where it could threaten the pure-blood elders. However, the threshold between mixed blood and pure blood cannot be made up by money. So, Frost became obsessed with the vampire archives, and from the remaining pages of the Vampire Bible, the Book of the Dead, he found a way to sacrifice pure blood and gain the power of the blood god. This is the plot of the first Blade movie. According to the vampire boy's diary, there will be a huge blood feast tonight in a secret base in a slaughterhouse. There will be more than 100 vampires participating at the same time. Cohen's eyes lit up. How could he miss such a banquet? But before that, he needs to make some preparations. A large slaughterhouse on the edge of the slums in Queens. Under the pitch-black night, cars drove silently into the slaughterhouse, including some luxury cars worth millions. Passing through the automated slaughterhouse, there is a metal door similar to an ice storage room, with a burly man guarding it. If you pass his test, you can enter the inner field, a carnival dance, a feast for vampires. Blood feast. But today, an unexpected guest came. The burly man put tonight's sacrifice in, then frowned as he heard gunshots. It was a subtle, silenced sound, but he couldn't hear clearly the loud music coming from the backstage behind him. After hesitating for a moment, he took out his pistol and slowly explored forward. The sound became clearer, and there seemed to be footsteps. He leaned his back against the solid concrete pillar, took a deep breath, and slowly stuck his head out. Boom! Before he could see clearly what was happening outside, a bullet flew over accurately and hit him right between the eyebrows. Fuck, the opponent must be cheating. This was the only thought the burly man had before he died. Cohen changed the magazines slowly and methodically. Along the way, he had killed several vampires and more than a dozen humans. It is easy to distinguish the two. Vampires have a higher body temperature, almost over 50 degrees. The outside was cleaned up, leaving only the inside. Cohen tapped his headphones and said, "David, are you ready? It's going to be a big scene." "Fuck, I'm just a support person. Why should I come out with you to fight vampires? If I die, there will be no one to help you manage your finances." Cohen smiled and said, "Don't worry, David. You'll be in the safest place later." Are you sure this thing will work? At the back door of the slaughterhouse, David drove his car and parked in a secluded corner. In the afternoon, Cohen specifically bought a used pickup truck from a gangster in Hell's Kitchen, and also bought the most powerful ultraviolet lamp on the market. After some modifications, the rear compartment was filled with batteries and dozens of ultraviolet lamps were densely fixed on the front of the car. Once turned on, it is brighter than the sun. The back door is the backup passage for the blood feast, and Cohen himself is at the front door, one in front and one behind, attacking from both sides. He planned to kill all these vampires. The harvest will surely be bountiful. Holding 2 guns, he took a deep breath and kicked the door. Boom! The door is open. I have to say, the eardrums of these vampires are very durable. The music at the scene was extremely loud. After Cohen fired 2 magazines, dozens of vampires in front of him were reduced to ashes. But those who followed didn't know what had happened and continued to party. It wasn't until Cohen shot the DJ dead and the music suddenly stopped that the remaining vampires reacted. There were a few stubborn guys who wanted to rush over, but he shot them back home. He did not rush in, but stood guard at the main gate, his finger constantly pulling the trigger. Almost every bullet can take out a vampire. Faced with this situation, the remaining vampires swarmed to the back of the stage, opened the back door, and just as they were about to escape, a bright and dazzling purple light suddenly lit up. A few who ran fast turned into ashes in an instant. The others retreated howling. At this time, Cohen was reloading for the second time. After firing more than 70 bullets, half of the vampires in the field were dead. The system prompt sound in his mind kept ringing. The remaining vampires became even more desperate and swarmed over him, but unfortunately he was well prepared. A handful of silver powder was sprinkled over, and the air was suddenly filled with sparkling tiny powders. The silver powder was like a solid barrier, and the vampires felt severe pain on their skin as soon as they came into contact with it. If you accidentally inhale it, you can only hold your stomach and wail on the ground. After the 3rd pair of magazines were fired, the field was completely clear. The remaining vampires are hiding in various corners, either planning a surprise attack or trying to survive. But to Cohen's infrared vision, the temperature of their bodies was like bright lights. He walked calmly and shot as he went along, clearing the entire dance hall. At this moment, a confused voice sounded behind him. "Fuck, what's going on?" Cohen turned around and saw a black man wearing a black leather jacket, carrying a long knife and wearing sunglasses standing at the door. Holding a shotgun in his hand, he aimed for a long time but couldn't find a target to shoot. "Blade Runner." Cohen smiled and said, "You are late. I have taken care of all the vampires in this blood feast." "Who are you?" "I am the famous vampire hunter Night Walker. Haven't you heard of me?" Blade was slightly stunned. "No, I've only heard of the Daywalker." Cohen raised the corner of his mouth. "Daywalker, I've heard of it. But a real man dares to face the strongest enemy. What's the use of walking during the day? I am best at killing people at night. I dare to face the enemies in the dark, so my name is Night Walker." "Well, that's not what Daywalker means. I also kill people in the dark. This name is for vampires." "Oh?" Cohen's eyes lit up, and he stepped forward to shake hands. "If you kill people too, then we are all big criminals. It's an honor to meet you, Blade." Blade shook hands with a confused look on his face, and Cohen rummaged around in his pocket for a long time before pulling out a business card. There was just a simple number and a cartoon devil face on it. "This is my phone number. Let's kill someone together when you are free. I have something else to do. I am leaving now. Bye." Meet David from the back door and drive away. The Blade Warrior was still confused when he looked at the business card in his hand. Suddenly, he heard footsteps from behind. "Quick, someone call the police. There may be murderers inside." "Everyone, who are you? Man in windbreaker, raise your hands." Daofeng rolled his eyes. He failed to kill the fox but ended up in trouble. On the way back, David was driving and Cohen couldn't wait to turn on the system. A series of prompts popped up. The mission has been completed. The mission has been completed. Finally, it freezes in 2 pictures. Mission accomplished. Character level bronze. Upgrade, not upgraded. Cause of death, shooting. Freshness, 1 star. End of life emotion, fear. Sentiment rating, 3 stars. Comprehensive task evaluation, 2 stars. Reward bronze 2-star gift package. Congratulations on triggering the first 20 kill streak reward, free attribute value, 20. Congratulations on obtaining the 100 kills achievement, special achievement gift pack. Next comes the exciting gift package opening session. For hunting down more than 100 vampires at once, he received 10 bronze gift packs. However, most of them are level 1 or 2, and level 3 is rare. Open all at once. Congratulations on receiving the rewards: basketball proficiency, assault rifle proficiency, underwater swimming proficiency, singing and dancing proficiency, free attribute value, 32 points. Basketball proficiency? Cohen looked at his physical stats, plus his 1.9 meter height. Why not become a superhero? He might as well just play in the NBA. With tens of millions of dollars a year, he can not only sleep with beautiful stars, but also have luxury cars, yachts, and parties. It seems that the last 2 years have been the champion of Lauda. Should we beat him? The Celtics have won 8 consecutive championships. I can win 18 consecutive championships. Wait, singing and dancing plus basketball, and then some rap. The system is planning on arranging my debut. Continue opening achievement packs. Congratulations on receiving the reward, ability upgrade card. This is a good thing. As the name suggests, it can upgrade your abilities. Night vision, compound eyes, dragon spirit, infrared vision. Looking at your 4 pitiful abilities, which one should you upgrade? First, rule out night vision and infrared. Compound eyes are one of his strongest abilities at present, and when used with firearms, they have endless uses. As for the dragon spirit, alas, I failed to hook up with Jean Bing's wife last time, so I have no place to use my skills. One is combat effectiveness, and the other is also combat effectiveness. It's difficult. After thinking it over carefully, I decided to upgrade the dragon energy. Relatively speaking, compound eyes, night vision, and infrared vision are all reconnaissance capabilities. With the 2 skills of Fighting Master and Pistol Master, he currently has more than enough attack power but insufficient defense. If you upgrade the dragon energy and your whole body becomes hard, wouldn't that be awesome? With a thought, he chose the dragon energy, and a warm current flowed through his body. The display in the system changed immediately: dragon energy, explosion. He did not gain the ability to harden his entire body. Explosion is an explosive ability that can instantly double his physical fitness. The enhanced ability is still available. At the same time, he can also burst out to the extreme, launching a small amount of dragon energy to form an indestructible fist to strike the enemy from a distance. However, this move consumes a lot of physical strength and cannot be used frequently. By the way, after adding attribute points, his strength changed dramatically. Name: Cohen Wang. Age: 22 years old. Bloodline: human. Status: normal. Power: 26. Speed: 26. Defense: 20. Constitution: 20. Spirit: 30. Human bloodline limit. Skills: Combat Master, Pistol Master, Trap Master, Swimming Master, Basketball Master, Submachine/Assault Rifle Master, Diving Master, Sniper Skill, Singing and Dancing Skill. Abilities: Night Vision, Compound Eyes, Dragon's Chi Burst, Infrared Vision. Items: none. Instance: unlocked. Alternate Universe: unlocked. Main task: those who are guilty must be punished. Iron level prey, 15/19. Bronze prey, 4/25. Newest mission, Silver Hunt. Silver level prey 0-1. Creed: killed to gain redemption. Among them, after the spiritual attribute reaches 30 points, the system prompts that it has reached the limit of human bloodline. He had a bit of a toothache. Did he want to add more and let the vampire take a bite? Doesn't that mean you're afraid of sunlight, garlic, and silver? But for now, there seems to be no possibility of coming into contact with other bloodlines. And even if you come into contact with it, it's useless. Bloodline is mostly brought from the mother's womb. You can't recreate it, right? Is it only possible to rely on system extraction? The night wind blew outside the car window, and Cohen was filled with melancholy. In the darkness, in a luxurious office. The city lights outside the floor-to-ceiling windows are brilliant. Wesley, how's the plan going? So far, I've contacted Scorpion MacDonald, Leaper Bartok, Mr. X from the Assassin's League, and your adopted daughter, Echo Maya. There was originally a top killer named John Wick, but he seems to have retired recently. But the remaining people are enough to form a powerful hunting team. Are you sure? Gene stood up from his large office chair, cigar in his mouth, and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. Why, do you think I got so angry because of Vanessa that I wanted to kill him? Wesley remained silent. Kingpin exhaled, and the smoke slowly descended along the glass. I didn't kill him just because he ruined my first meeting with Vanessa, provoked me, and escaped from me. Purely because he will bring us big trouble. But he is now a wanted criminal in the whole city. The New York Police Department is looking for him, and many gangs are also looking for him. He has not appeared in Hell's Kitchen for many days ever since he and I had a fight. Gene Bing sneered. Over the years, not many people have been able to escape from my hands. Wesley, don't underestimate him and think he is just a small fry who specializes in killing street thugs. I have a feeling he will change the entire Hell's Kitchen and maybe even New York City. I will never allow such an awesome person to exist. Wesley was silent for a while. I understand, boss. Emma Church. Coulson came again, but this time he didn't come to see Cohen. Instead, he sat in the small hall with a tired look on his face. Pray to God. Unable to wait for the demon face, he planned to end the mission here. Anyway, Daredevil is guarding the roof every day, so Demon Face shouldn't be able to cause any trouble. The Black Chief assigned him a new task. Rumor has it that a secret military experiment went wrong, creating a green-skinned, muscular monster. This monster was so powerful that even an entire elite combat team was unable to capture him. However, the specific situation was concealed by the project leader, General Ross. For the sake of world peace and tranquility, S.H.I.E.L.D. certainly cannot ignore this situation. Director Nick Fury decisively decided to intervene. This foot belongs to him, the Level 8 agent, Phil Coulson. He will fly to Brazil tomorrow morning. According to the intelligence obtained by S.H.I.E.L.D., the green monster is likely hiding in a beverage factory over there. Even General Ross didn't know this news. The director assigned him a professional capture team that was strong and ruthless. Equipped with an oversized shotgun for tranquilization, it hurts a lot when he hits someone. Just shoot him twice in the back and capture him alive. The reason why he came to Emma Church again before leaving was because the doubts in his heart had not been resolved, and he really didn't want to leave in a daze. Cohen, who was leading everyone in prayer, of course saw Coulson, but he did not take the initiative to say hello. After killing so many people at the vampire's blood feast last time, he felt so happy that his strength almost doubled. So recently he has been looking for traces of vampires with David's help. These guys are easy to kill and leave no trace when they die. They are guaranteed to be at Brown's level, which is much more cost-effective than street thugs. As for the situation in Hell's Kitchen, he didn't pay much attention to it. After the prayer, Coulson felt better and took the initiative to greet Cohen. Cohen responded enthusiastically. Hey Coulson, since you agents from the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Agency came, the whole Hell's Kitchen has been a lot quieter. I heard that the Devil Face hasn't appeared for many days. This must be your contribution, right? Coulson opened his mouth and was about to say that it had nothing to do with him, but Cohen continued. I have to say, you are much better than those incompetent police officers. Oh, God bless you, I don't mean to say that about them, but that's the truth. Before you came, this place was a living hell. Sometimes I have to wonder whether the police department, the city government, and even the entire United States care about this place. Murder, arson, drug trafficking, robbery, rape, and plunder. I think Satan would not feel the slightest bit uncomfortable coming to this place. This is a God-forsaken land, where all residents are struggling between life and death. The fact that such a place actually exists in America almost shook my faith. But thanks to you guys, things are finally getting better here. Cohen ignored Coulson's slowly stiffening expression and looked appreciative. You guys from the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency are like angels. Although it is your responsibility to protect the people, and although you accidentally forgot about this place before, I still want to thank you on behalf of all the residents of Hell's Kitchen. Cohen bowed solemnly. Cough, cough. Coulson suddenly started coughing violently. Well, it is indeed our duty to protect the people. It's not like we ignored this place before. It's okay, it's okay. Cohen waved his hands quickly and said, Let the past be the past. It will be enough for you to protect us in the future. You have no idea how happy the residents who confessed to me were that they could finally live a normal slum life. Although they still ate black bread and drank cheap coffee, they didn't have to worry about gunfights every day. You have no idea how happy they are to see the rising sun while having breakfast or on the way to work. Agent Coulson, thank you for protecting this beauty and allowing those who might have died in the gunfight to live such a peaceful and tranquil day. Don't worry, I will definitely launch a petition to let the government commend you, the truly hard-working agents. Coulson had a look of holding back shit on his face. Cohen smiled and said, By the way, what do you want to talk to me about? After taking some time to adjust his mood, Coulson said, I'm sorry to bother you again, Mr. Father. I didn't quite understand what you said last time, so I want to ask again. The origin of Demon Face seems to be related to Daredevil. Excuse me, what does this mean? Cohen showed a surprised expression on his face. You haven't checked it out yet? Why not ask Daredevil? He is the guardian of Hell's Kitchen. Didn't he actively cooperate with you? Coulson couldn't hold back the embarrassment on his face. He felt like his self-esteem was being crushed repeatedly. No, actually. We had a cordial conversation with Daredevil, but we just, wanted to double-check. Oh. Cohen nodded. So, what do you want to confirm? Coulson was silent. He could only repeat what he had just said. You said that Daredevil and the origin of Devil Face are related. What is the relationship? Cohen frowned and thought for a moment. I'm not sure, but from what the confessor said, he seemed to have seen by chance that it was Daredevil who prompted the birth of Devil Face. How did you prompt it? It seems like murder. Kill who? Cohen looked at Coulson, whose hair volume was worrying, speechlessly, and shook his head. I don't know. In fact, I strongly suspect that this drunken confessor just had an unrealistic dream. Maybe you don't need to take what I say seriously, maybe it's just a false clue. Coulson fell into deep thought. He thought about Daredevil's avoidance of him and his insistence on standing on the roof every day. Could it be that this kid is filled with guilt and wants to make up for his mistakes? His seems to be right? A dazed Coulson walked out of the church. David has something to report to Cohen. David has thoroughly investigated the two corrupt policemen, Jaden and Isaac. They did work under Gene Bing, but their rank was very low and they were not qualified to meet Gene Bing. The usual task is to transport drugs while patrolling at night. They are an important link in Gene Bing's drug empire, carrying hundreds of kilograms of drugs from the headquarters and distributing them to 6 to 7 stations. Since we were driving a police car, we wouldn't be stopped or checked even in the middle of the night, so the risk was almost zero. David took the opportunity to install eavesdropping programs in their mobile phones. Tonight there is a big deal. More than 500 kilograms of amphetamine, worth $20 million. For completing this transportation, each of them can receive a reward of $50,000, which is equivalent to half a year's salary. No need to pay taxes. In addition, there is some explosive private news. After listening to David's report, Cohen's eyes lit up. The police and gangs have been keeping an eye on him recently, so he might as well give them something to do. Tonight, let's put on a big show for them. Late at night, in the back alley of a pub, two black policemen parked the police car at the back door and walked out. There is a 24-hour convenience store just around the corner. Jaden, the white policeman, loosened his belt around his fat belly and said, "Come on, Isaac, have some coffee. They should be ready when we get back." Isaac said with a smile on his face, "Hey, what are you going to do with the money?" "I plan to go to Hawaii for vacation this year. Sunshine, beaches, and beauties. Fuck, I'm going to have a good time." Jaden rolled his eyes. "You just want to play. Don't say I don't take care of you. I have a way. $50,000 to become a sheriff, $100,000 to become a captain. Do you want to do it?" The black policeman widened his eyes and said, "Is this true? Don't lie to me." Jaden snorted coldly. "If you don't believe it, then go to Hawaii. When you come back, you have to call me sir when you see me again. Are you sure you're not trying to cheat me out of my money? I guarantee you'll get a promotion within 3 months. If not, I'll refund you the full amount." A hint of hesitation flashed across the black man's face, but he finally gritted his teeth and said, "Okay. I'll give you all the $50,000, and I'll be promoted to sheriff." "That's right. After becoming the sheriff, wouldn't it be easy to make back the money?" The white policeman patted him on the shoulder with a smile, with a hint of hidden excitement in his eyes. Each of the promoted sheriffs received 30,000 yuan, 60,000 yuan for 2 people, and he had 40,000 yuan left. "Hey, I'm going to Hawaii on vacation this year, and I'm going to have a great time." On the rooftop next to them, Cohen was watching the two of them. He didn't wear the devil face costume for the time being. This was a revenge, and he had to let them know who the murderer was. Turning around, I saw several figures flashing at the back door of the pub, moving things into the police car. A gleam of light flashed in his eyes. "Hey, I'll add some spice to you." On the other hand, after unremitting efforts, Jean Bing finally got a date with his ideal person. He picked her up in his 7-meter-long Lincoln, and the two arrived at a members-only French high-end restaurant on the rooftop. At first glance, the dining area has a wide view, and outside the 270-degree floor-to-ceiling windows, the bright lights of Manhattan can be seen. The polite waiter, dressed in a suit, led them to the center of the dining area. This is not the place with the best view, and there are guests all around. A trace of regret flashed through Vanessa's heart. People sat down one after another. Although there were many people, everyone was very quiet. There was not even the slightest whisper. With the accompaniment of slow and soothing violin music, Kingpin behaved like a gentleman and told Vanessa what was on his mind. He talked about his childhood, ideals, ambitions, and life. His ideas are clear and unconventional, and his words are low but powerful. At first, Vanessa was only attracted by his extraordinary temperament, but as they talked, she began to feel admiration and praise for him. What a strange man! The sour smell of love spreads quietly. Jaden and Isaac finished a cup of coffee and returned to the alley. The back door of the pub was locked and there was no one around. The two men were used to it. They took a quick look at the wheel and found that it had sunk quite a bit. "It looks like the cargo has been loaded." Along the familiar road, the two began to distribute the goods. Cohen followed them in a scrapped and modified junkie car. After ensuring that all 6 shipments were delivered to the site, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Then a police car accelerated and rammed into the two men. "Damn it, Falk." Feeling that he was being rear-ended, the white police officer Jaden got out of the car cursing. He felt a little scared, but luckily the goods had been delivered, otherwise there would be big problems. Isaac next to him was also furious and pulled out his gun without saying a word. Fortunately, he still maintained the basic qualities of a policeman and did not rush forward mindlessly, but slowly approached with a guarded gun in hand. Jaden knocked hard on the car door, and as the window lowered, he was stunned. "It's you, the yellow monkey." The white police officer had a ridiculous look on his face. "Hey, Isaac, come check it out. This guy is still alive. I thought he was dead a long time ago." The black man put away his gun, walked around the front of the car, and when he saw Cohen, he exaggeratedly said in his racially gifted voice, "Damn. Why wasn't he killed by Devilface? Is Hell's Kitchen so easy to survive and now?" Cohen got out of the car with a smile on his face. "Black people, white pigs, long time no see. I miss you guys so much." Hearing this name, the two of them became instantly furious. The black policeman touched the gun on his waist. A sinister smile appeared on his face. "Jaden, last time you said that the time and place were not suitable for killing. Now, is it suitable?" "Yeah, right time, right place." The white policeman nodded. But before they could do anything, Cohen moved as fast as lightning and hit them in the waist with 2 heavy punches. They instantly bent over in pain. "Oh, my kidney." Boom! With a simple and clean blow to the back of their heads, both men fell to the ground instantly. We loaded them into the car and drove all the way, and soon arrived at a remote pier. In a container, a strong electric current awakened them. Jaden opened his eyes and saw that he and his partner Isaac were hung up in a rusty iron house. A dim, swaying chandelier, a recording camera, and a figure hidden in the darkness not far ahead. Based on the memory before the coma, it should be the Yellow Monkey. Sure enough, a familiar voice came. "You two, let's play a game." Jaden felt a surge of anger in his heart, and he immediately cursed. "Fuck. Let us go, Yellow Monkey, we are the police, you have committed a serious crime, if you don't want to die, let us go immediately." Thorn. Another powerful electric current flowed through his body. Jaden's muscles were rigid, his body was twitching, and he was foaming at the mouth. He was furious and fearful at the same time, and the pain in his body told him that this was real. The person in front of him had murderous intentions. He couldn't withstand more than a few electric shocks of this intensity. How can it be? How could a Yellow Monkey have such courage? A voice came from the shadows again. "Listen carefully, if you don't want to be electrocuted again, then cooperate with me and play a game." Of course, Isaac could not escape the punishment of electric shock. He gasped. "What game do you want to play?" Hee hee. A laugh came from the darkness. "From now on, tell me a secret every 30 seconds. If you don't tell me or tell me something casually, you know the consequences." Jaden and Isaac looked at each other in silence. Cohen said with joy, "Time waits for no one. 10, 9, 8. Jaden panicked and said quickly, I'll tell you. He gritted his teeth and glanced at Isaac. "Although my partner is black, deep down, I feel that I am a racist." As he spoke, he winked at the black man in a concealed way. The black policeman reacted. "Fuck you, we have been working together for so long, and you are a racist." Thorn. A strong current flows. "You two, please don't tell me that you are racists. Do you think I didn't investigate you in advance? One last warning, if you don't want to end this game early, don't use those tricks." "Okay, 30 seconds countdown, it's your turn, nigger officer." Isaac's mind was blank for a moment, and he couldn't think of any secret at all. But he felt like he was already half dead and couldn't bear the next electric shock, so he had to risk it all. We made a deal with the gang." Jaden looked at him with wide eyes instantly. Damn it, is this something he can even say? "Do you know what gangs do? They will kill your entire family," he yelled. "Isaac, you nigger, there are some things you can never say, you know, shut up." An imperceptible red flush appeared on Isaac's dark face, but he still said stubbornly, "Fuck, if you don't tell me, we're all going to die here. I still have a wife, and she's pregnant with my child. Do you want her to die?" Isaac's face suddenly turned pale, and he seemed to want to say something, but Cohen interrupted him. "Stop yelling, white pig. It's your turn to speak now." Jaden stopped yelling and stared at Isaac. "I just told you that you can be promoted to sheriff for $50,000, but it only costs $30,000. I stole $20,000. The black man's eyes widened instantly, with the white of his pupils very conspicuous. "Shift, we have been partners for 5 years, and you actually cheated me of my money. White pig, do you think I'm a fool? I know you're a racist bastard. The nigger started to curse, and when he paused, Cohen interrupted. All right, nigger, it's your turn. Isaac took a few breaths and said, except for us, most of the people in the 21st precinct are in cahoots with the gangs. Jaden sighed helplessly towards the sky. It was all over, the gangs would not let them go, and neither would the police. I shouldn't have been a partner with a nigger in the first place, his IQ is too low. Interesting. Cohen's laughter came from the darkness. It's your turn, white pig. Anger rose in Jaden's heart, but he still wanted to struggle. It's fine if I get killed, but you can't drag your family down with you, right? After committing so many crimes, why not just pick out a few that don't involve the mafia? He could only guide Isaac. Our chief of the 18th precinct, Charlie, once accepted a bribe to help a rapist get away with it. As long as they focus on the dirty work within the police force, they won't get into too much trouble. After all, in most cases, the police abide by the law and at least will not implicate family members. Moreover, there are so many such things that they can talk about them for a long time. This time, without Cohen's reminder, Isaac took the initiative to continue the conversation and said, Yes, I've heard of it too. And I also heard that he has a mistress who is a gangster boss, and it was with his help that the gang gradually grew stronger. Jaden's heart died. He had only one thought in his mind: if there is another life, I will never reconcile with niggers. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. You're just being outspoken, right? I'm sick of you. He spoke passionately. Isaac, when we first became partners, I treated you to a drink and introduced a friend to you. Actually, he is not my friend. He is a gay guy I met in the bar. Then you got drunk and woke up with a dry mouth. The black policeman stood there in a daze, with an incredible expression on his face, and suddenly struggled to go to him. I knew it, damn it, I knew it. I'll kill you. The two quarreled violently, using foul language, and deeply influenced Zuin's true teachings. Until a slow countdown woke them up from their anger. 5, 4, 3. Isaac knew it was his turn and he decided to take revenge. So he licked his lips and said, Jaden, I fuck you, my wife. There was a sudden silence in the field. The white man narrowed his eyes, not believing it at all, and sneered. Your intention of revenge is too obvious. You'd better think of another one, otherwise we will be electrocuted again. It's your turn, white pig. A calm voice came from the darkness. Jaden was stunned and forced a smile. He lied, didn't you investigate? He lied. The room fell into an unprecedented silence. There was a cruel smile on Isaac's black face, with a row of white teeth, as if mocking his incompetence. Cohen's voice sounded tirelessly. I have investigated. So, it's your turn. Jaden looked at the figure in the dark in disbelief and then at Isaac beside him, feeling a little confused. The black man's mellow voice rang in his ears. Dear Jaden, I'm not lying. In fact, we are in love with each other. I know you like her to wear black lace and she likes doggy style. Damn it, Falk. The white man pounced on the black man with his fangs bared, while the black man laughed fearlessly. This revenge has reached its climax. French high-end restaurant. After a series of friendly conversations, Kingpin seemed to have something to say. He touched the cufflinks on his wrist out of habit. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Is this a precious thing to you? Yes, it belonged to my father, it is his legacy, and I am honoring him in this way. Whenever I think of him, I always think of my childhood, then my dreams, and then this city. Vanessa wondered. How are they related? I witnessed the depravity of human nature when I was a child, and even more so when I grew up. When I was a kid I thought the world was simple, the city was simple, but it's not. But I love this city deeply, and transforming it is my ideal. After that, he paused and turned his eyes to the bag next to Vanessa. You brought a gun? Vanessa was stunned and silent for a while. It's dangerous here. Jean Bing sighed. This is exactly what I wanted to tell you. It is indeed dangerous here. He glanced out the window. There are gangs everywhere, all kinds of people, chaos and chaos. There is a lack of order here, a strong order. Vanessa hesitated for a moment. That day, the Devilface said you are Jean Bing pursed his lips and said, I have lied to many people, but I don't want to do the same to you. I'm afraid it's just what you think. He took a deep breath and said, In the past, I have hurt many people, and in the future, I may hurt more people. But I don't enjoy it, I even feel deeply painful. He looked deeply into Vanessa's eyes and said, Everything I do is for the city. Look at the useless police officers who are not able to protect the residents of the city but are instead a hindrance to them. And I will break this bondage and give them new life. Make new rules and everyone will be subject to them. This city was once great, but it has fallen into disrepair over time. Only I can save it. Vanessa seemed shocked and stared at Kingpin blankly. Kingpin held her hand, his eyes tender, and promised her, You will never need that gun when you are with me. Vanessa hesitated for a long time, slowly picked up the bag on the table, took out a silver lady's pistol, and handed it to him. A satisfied smile appeared on Jean Bing's face. So, you made your choice. So, are you ready to enter my world? Vanessa smiled shyly. Yes, I think I'm ready. Clap. Kingpin clapped his hands. In an instant, the restaurant was filled with the sounds of people standing up and moving their chairs in unison. The guests around all stood up silently and left in an orderly manner. Vanessa was surprised to find that there were no guests, or rather, there were only 2 guests. Jean Bing took her hand and walked to the French window. I have prepared a fireworks show for you, you will definitely like it.